Welcome back, everybody, to Film Club, and Jay's back.
Hello. Good to be back.
Hello. A lot of things. Nothing's changed with Jay. He's perfectly fine. He just needed a break, didn't you?
Everything's the same.
I'm sure everybody in chat, whoever's there, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Very good.
Yay.
That's great. Wait till they're free.
Wait till they're 18.
Oh my God, there you go. Yeah,
fair enough.
Become the taxi driver. There we go. But everybody, but we've got Jay's pick. We pushed it back from last week. We understood why to do League of Their Own. Lucky enough, I must say, from your two perspective, that was baseball. And what is it called if like your team loses in like, is it a sweep? Is it like a series sweep?
Yeah, if you don't win a single game in the series, it's a sweep series.
Yeah,
sweep.
so we've got the Twins and we've got also the Tigers. So well done, guys. Like your teams are doing really, really well. And you both lost the game. Nationals today, and I had to look it up. I'm just rubbing it in.
None of my local teams are doing very well. I'm actually going to the ball game I'm going to the Nationals game on Tuesday. I think it's the Atlanta Braves. So we'll see. It's been rough for my two local teams.
Well,
Jay,
it hasn't been any better here in Boston. Jason Tatum just tore his Achilles, so the Celtics.
Oh yes, I saw that.
Next year, the whole year. So never great. But things happen. He's a young athlete, so he should bounce back all right. But the fact that we're going to have pretty much no basketball season next year now kind of sucks. So it's been a rough week in Boston sports, but yeah, football's around the corner. We'll see what happens.
Well, you have a former coach that's making the news headlines for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, him and his new girlfriend.
Oh my word!
I am so happy that shit show, for lack of a better term, is not in New England right now, and it's down in North Carolina. Good luck, Tar Heels.
I did actually watch, talking about I actually did watch the some of the NFL draft. That was literally very amusing. The show like that. There's one kid that kind of cocked it up, like he was wanted to be drafted, and then he just
it was because he was the son of
Sanders.
Yes, that's him.
Sanders.
Yeah. It was like watching that movie with Kevin Costner, Draft Day, when that kid just went back. I was like, oh, it's like real life. But that was highly entertaining.
Not fair to the kid, not fair to Bronny James. I mean, it's these parents overhyping because they think, well, they've got the star power, but they don't have the talent.
Right.
But I don't know. Back in the day, Jay, you weren't born. God, I have to keep reminding myself. Back in the day, like you were either a Deion Sanders person or a Bo Jackson person because they were the players that played both baseball and football. I was a Bo Jackson fan, so not quite the neon Deion fan, but
Deion's a lot to take in.
Yes.
You can appreciate his skill, but the personality is a lot to take in. Sometimes it's funny and it's warranted with how good he was, but a lot of the times it's like, oh my God, does this guy ever stop? So it's definitely Shador. Was he a first-round draft pick? No. Was he really a fifth-round draft pick? No. So somewhere in the middle, he probably should have went. I would have said like around third round. But, I think a lot of teams looked at it and said, third-round draft pick, backup quarterback, to have to deal with his dad's ego too, that's a lot. So, the poor kid got a bit of a tough break there. But he's in the league. Now's your chance. Use it, motivate you. Maybe you become something great. We'll see.
By the way, chat, welcome to Sports Club today.
Again, yeah.
He started it.
I was going to say, we can talk about the FA Cup. Like Crystal Palace one. So
did they?
a-
No kidding.
Yeah, so a certain YouTuber.
Oh,
we all
As
know
is gonna be
that's
going
key,
nuts.
right?
Yeah,
Yep.
They won.
and
Now, is that the whole cup? Did they win the whole thing, or are they just moving
yeah,
along?
no, they won beat
Wow,
Manchester
really? Good for
City
them.
in the final. So
Nick
Eze,
Wow.
who used to play for my team, Queen's Park Rangers, coming, and it's quite good into
for
that
them.
because into this is because he was let go by I think Arsenal, a couple of it rejected, and he just got no. I'm gonna prove myself.
Oh,
And
you
get
love
better
those
and better.
stories.
Yeah, so that's it. And then he got his chance with my team, Queen's Park Rangers, went on to Crystal Palace, and he scored the goal in the cup final.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome.
Wow.
Good for him. Good
So,
for them.
yeah.
I love to see underdogs win like that.
Yeah,
I used to support City a while back, right before they became like the city they are now. It was like when Aguero was there and Vincent Company. But then I kind of fell out of it for a little bit, so I haven't paid as much attention. But they're a bit of a money fueled powerhouse now, so it's good to see a team like Crystal Palace get a win.
Yeah, it was their first ever major trophy ever.
Oh, awesome!
I think it's like
Wow.
something like 120 years or something. It was
Oh,
like
damn,
it's
that
something.
stuff.
Yeah, that's like
Good for
that's
them.
yeah, but good. Yeah, it's good. So I'm guessing South London at the moment is going to be going a bit crazy. So good on them. And one person in Yorkshire.
Yes, for sure.
God bless them.
And
He's gonna be in a great
unfortunately,
mood tomorrow.
Mr. Porkchop's son, he supports Manchester City. So so there's going to be a bit of a household debate.
Yeah.
Fair weather fan.
Fair
though, from what
enough.
I
Yeah.
understand. May have to change
Yeah,
allegiance.
City got a lot of bandwagon fans once they started pumping money into them.
Yeah,
So.
I think it was Jude Bellingham's dad that called them a plastic club.
Yeah, that I've heard that phrase before with
Yeah.
them, and it's kind of accurate.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
what are you gonna do?
Yeah. But anyway, let's get on to, before we go into full sports, onto Jay's pick. We finally got there. We finally did it, of Whiplash. So 2014. This is what I think we looked. Is this the oldest one on our list, or there's one?
I want
maybe 16
On our
sure.
entire list,
on our
That's
entire. I
one
think
of
this
them.
might be the
Yeah.
oldest.
Let me
I
look
want
it
to
up.
say the
You
more
mean the
recent
newest.
ones came from the more recent ones I think came from mostly from my additions to the list. So this has to be one of them
Let's
because
see. I can.
Sicario I think was 2015, so this would have been like a year
Okay.
after it, but not much past that.
No. So now I have to ask: do you play the drums?
No, I am a huge music fanatic. I can
Okay.
play. I'm a little bit self-taught, and I don't even say can play, more as I just memorized a few songs on piano and guitar. So not a lot, but music's just always been a passion of mine. I adore it.
I have a correction to make. I'm sorry to interrupt. I have a breaking news. You put American Underdog on this list, and that's 2021.
Oh,
there we go. We did talk about
so
it.
we will have a post 2020 movie.
We also have The Martian in 2015 and The Death of Stalin in 2017. So we do have a few.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a few.
Yeah, okay.
I thought that was a little older. Okay,
There we go. Yeah, cool.
Sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to make sure.
We're getting close to some stuff, after 2020.
But not a lot, right?
It's funny because when I saw you guys put the chat into our Discord about the whole kind of idea for some of those topics, I actually went right to IMDb. I'm like, let me think. Like, I must be able to find something from 2020. You see the list of everything 2020 and beyond. It's like, damn, there's some decent stuff in there, but nothing that I would have like put on, the list of our favorites. So it'll be interesting to do some of those movies.
Yeah, it's gonna. Yeah, there's gonna be. So if that thing, so I'll get to that when we come to chat. Jay's just kind of gone into something that means.
Oh, sorry, I thought that was discussed on last week's episode.
It was discussed, but they don't know. They don't know.
Shoot. Sorry,
they
spoiler,
don't
guys.
know. So you're gonna have to wait until when we get to the wheel. There is some changes that we've made, and there's one slot that is very special that I'm hoping that doesn't come up because it involves you guys. You might get that, but the wheel, there's going to be some fun. So we get there. So wait until we get to the wheel. Stay with us. We're gonna have some fun, and a good chat. But yeah, back to Whiplash. Jazz. Do you like jazz?
As much as the next person, it's not my favorite. I do think it's really nice when you hear a good jazz song. You can really appreciate, how the different instruments kind of dance with one another. So it's a style that I appreciate and can enjoy, but it's definitely not a go-to. I'm pretty open when it comes to music. I always say the only thing I can't listen to is modern day country. I just can't do the dirt roads, the pickup trucks, the beers, the shorts for the women and all that. Like, it's just the same song over and over and over again. I can't do modern day country. Sorry, anybody in chat who likes it.
Well, we're going to
But
find
other
out
than that, I can
because
listen
if
to anything.
sorry, but if we get like for country, we have to find out because Highlander wasn't he at Hoedown? Was it Highlander?
He was at
That's
a hillbilly hoedown,
Hootenanny?
which
Oh,
is
no, it was a
different from a
Hootenanny.
hootenanny. Nope, it's very different from a hootenanny. I asked for a clarification. So, and I just posted my live stream where he announced, on my live stream that he was going to hoedown, and we asked for that clarification. So, very different from a hootenanny. Hootenanny's in a barn, according to Highlander. So, yeah.
And we got a jazz fan, Natty. Hi, Natty. Was it?
Oh, very cool.
Trombone.
Nice.
Trombone.
So, Natty, can we do a virtual band? I don't play anything well, but usually, in these chats, you find out that there are people who play several instruments.
I've got a triangle for you, Sandy.
I've got a harmonica
I
right
play
next to me.
piano, but I only took a few years of
harmonica?
lessons, but I do play piano. My daughter plays electric and acoustic and bass guitar, and
nice.
she's really good. She's really good. So I don't mind it when she's upstairs, right above my head, right above this office. I used to mind it, but now she's really good. So I love it. That's because she knows to play my favorite songs. She learns a new song every year for my birthday. So one year it was on the acoustic guitar, Here Comes the Sun, which is one of my favorite songs. And a few years ago, it was Sweet Child of Mine on her electric guitar, and she nailed it. So it's really, it's great. I have no skills.
Yeah, I always say I've taught myself a few party tricks musically.
I always have a book for just the occasion.
Nice.
So like if you want, I can do a bit of a metal.
Can you actually read music?
Not that well, mostly tabs.
Okay.
I used to be quite good, but kind of if you don't carry on, you kind of like that. So I go, oh yeah, it's one of those. It's like foreign languages. Like if you don't keep going,
right,
just keep doing it.
Natty, bass trombone. That's awesome.
Yeah, very cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I taught myself a few musical party tricks to bust out when you're with the friends and someone's got a acoustic or a piano around. But outside of that, I definitely wouldn't say I know how to play anything. I've just learned how to play a couple things.
Oh, my mate did he was a bit strange, let's say that, but he knew he was. But he was so funny. He was the funniest person. And literally, your shopping malls.
Mm-hmm.
And they sometimes they just have a piano, don't they?
Yeah,
just like that.
They do.
And he just went in and then just was like, we were like, what are you doing? He just opened it up and just went, and just started this nobody knew he could play. And he was just like that, doing this mad, rock and roll, musical thing. And we were like, what is going on? And then he just kind of changed it to classical. And we were just and he came back in and we're like, you didn't never told us play. He went, yes, but you've never asked. We're like, how would we know? like that. And we're just okay.
That's fun. Yeah.
But he played the bass guitar. We found out he played the sax. He's one of those and just pick it up and just goes with it. You're like, okay.
A savant.
Yeah. So mine, I just guitarist. Yeah, a bit of harmonica, but just picked up the guitar when I was probably quite late, probably 12, I think it was 11, 12.
Yeah, my daughter was 10, and we probably hesitated just a smidge because she wanted the electric guitar first instead of the acoustic, and so we got her a ukulele for a minute.
That's a nice middle ground.
And she learned 100 songs in weeks by watching YouTube videos. So we're like, okay. So then we got her the electric.
It's a great way to teach yourself. That's how I did it back in the day. Even just recently, I was watching rewatching Avatar, The Last Airbender, because as I've said before, I absolutely adore that show. It was around the time the live action one for Netflix was coming out. And there's a specific song I believe it's called Avatar's Love. That's this beautiful little song that they've had in the show for, since forever. Phenomenal. And I found out it was played on a kalimba, which is that little wooden box with the little metal kind of, things on it that you almost play similar to a piano. So naturally, the obsession became, I need to learn how to play this song. So ordered a kalimba off Amazon, figured out how to play it within a day just from the YouTube videos. So you can teach yourself a lot of stuff through YouTube.
Hey, what's a didgeridoo? And then Sandy, I want to know as well. You don't know what a didgeridoo is?
Didgeridoo, that's the big long like wooden
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I know that from
I've heard
SpongeBob,
the term. I never
actually.
knew what it actually was.
Yeah, didgeridoo. It's like a hollow tube that indigenous people, Australia, I think probably New
It's
Zealand
actually a
and the
really
islands,
cool sound.
and it's just like, and they play through this thing. So you need you good lungs to get that going.
Yep.
But like that, so yeah, they just.
I learned about those from SpongeBob SquarePants probably about 20 years ago. And I never
Maybe
forgot
that's
what
where
it
I
was.
heard of it too. Or I think what's his name? The crocodile hunter. Yeah. Not crocodile hunter, Crocodile Dundee. Sorry.
Oh yeah,
Completely wrong crocodile.
I knew what you
Sorry.
meant, though. I did know what you meant.
Rest in peace, Steve Irwin.
Now,
Yeah.
I was about to go, don't say, because there is a Australian that was living in England who used to do a didgeridoo song. Let's say he's now behind, well, was, I think he's maybe dead now, was behind bars. Let's say that, leave it to that. He wasn't really, but did a BBC job. Let's say that.
Oh, one of those.
Yeah, one of those. And he did a song, didgeridoo kind of thing like that. And like that. So we missed that. But yeah, it's things. But I put wind instruments. But yeah, so far piano is winning on that little poll.
Yep.
But yeah, so Jay, let's crack on with Whiplash. So I say I saw Sandy in chat. You hadn't seen the menu, and I was like, oh, when Sandy said, I was like, yes, it feels like the same look. It has that color gloss all the way through it.
Like that's one of the things I love about this movie, the color palette with that saturated kind of color up against the darkness. It's just, it looks brilliant.
And also the theme, kind of the tortured artist, and in this case, musician, in the case of the menu, a chef. You know, it just had that feel to it. So I think and you know, not to go too on, but I think you'll like it. So and I don't know, is that I'll have to look and see if someone put it on the list. If not, that might turn into being our most recent. Because I think
that's Netflix.
Probably
was it Netflix? No, was it on?
No, that was
it was in the
theatrical.
No, I saw it in the theater, and it's not on our list. So that might become one of our. Although yours was 2021 for the Underdog, but I think we should add it, and it'll be at least after 2020, I'm sure.
I thought it might have been 2019, but I could be wrong. It's right on the cusp of those years. I can't remember. I feel like it's either right before it or right after.
Oh, 2022.
I know. I'd say
it's only been
so right
3 years.
No kidding. Yeah, I've heard good things, and it's been on my list to watch for a while. I just had not gotten around to it. Good cast. They have Anya Taylor-Joy, Ralph Fiennes, or Fiennes. I always say
Ralph Fiennes.
The other guy there, who's Lex Luthor now, Nicholas Hoult.
Nicholas Hoult, he's great. I like.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
Judith Light is in that. There's a lot of several stars in that film, stage and screen.
Yeah, and talking about Nicholas Hoult, we will discuss after the wheel that trailer. That's it. So but anyway,
I don't want to talk about the trailer. You can talk.
You're gonna have to.
Okay, we'll talk about the trailer. I haven't. So okay, we'll say.
We'll get to the trailer.
We'll say.
We'll get to the trailer. So I must say this movie, like, you can see where the budget is, because they don't really move outside their own confinements of where they're shooting.
$3.3 million.
You can see they've just used the same area and just shot it in a different angle to look like it's a different room or different area, except for a couple of outside shots. I think that's quite clever, because I think they probably just rented a studio space and just went, there you go.
A hotel.
Yeah.
Most of this film was filmed in an old hotel. And I am sad to say, and I was very sad to learn, this film, the setting is New York, but this was filmed in Los Angeles. It's not even filmed
It's
in
funny
New York.
you say that, because they never, I don't know that they directly reference New York at any point.
No, I was trying
the idea that they're like, that's what they're going for. But something about it just didn't look quite right. And I'm like, I know they want this to be New York, but this is not New York.
No, there's a couple. I've got one of the pictures like in a minute like that, because it starts off, of course, Andrew, that we don't know is Andrew, is just drumming, he's practicing. And I dislike this shot, because if you're a musician of any, I like the shot because it's a corridor shot, but practical, you're going to close that door, because you want
Right.
you don't want that echo coming through as a musician.
Yeah, fair enough.
So like that. And I was like, oh, just things. But yeah, he's playing along, of course. And then Fletcher turns up. He stops. I didn't tell you to stop. Why did you stop?
Mhm.
And then he just carries on. Why did you carry on? Why do you think? And
Are you a
like
wind-up doll? It's oh god, he just comes in with that energy of like, I don't
Yeah.
even know who you are, but I'm immediately going to start pushing you and challenging you on every single thing you do.
Yeah, why do you did that? Why are you breathing? It's like that. It's like yeah. I'll get to the things, but yeah, he carries on.
One quick thing I do want to point out in that opening shot down the corridor, I love it visually. I love it because it sets the tone for what you get cinematography wise in this movie. And as we just mentioned, it's a movie that doesn't film in a lot of places. I mean, it's a really contained, set, I guess, so to speak, in terms of where they, shoot these scenes. It's very contained. It's not all over the place. They're not world traveling. It's a few different rooms and very, very simple. But they somehow managed to have what I at least think is phenomenal cinematography throughout this entire movie, just because the choices they made on how to film it. This low crawl towards the door, you almost think is just a panning in towards your focus of the scene. But then very quickly when you get to the door, you realize, no, that's actually supposed to represent Fletcher coming down the hallway, or the Fletcher character coming down the hallway. It's cleverly done, but visually, I think this movie looks phenomenal. And this scene really sets the stage for that. Like, oh, wow, this isn't just going to be, a low budget movie. They went, I think, as skilled as you could within the budget to make it seem like it was much more than it was.
I think so. And I also think, also in this scene, look at the lights. Those are good old 1930s. Like you're hearing jazz, but you're also in these settings that are kind of a throwback, even though this is set in modern times, from the lighting to the wood paneling in the rehearsal room to, even if you look at some of the chairs they're sitting in, there's so much throwback. Oh, it does. It is just visually stunning. 100%.
Yeah. So we got Fletcher. She comes in, of course. Now, can I now from now on, if I just want you guys to stop, can I just do this?
Yeah, but how do we do it back to you is the question.
Exactly. That can never happen. It's never gonna happen. That's it. But yeah, it's like that. But yeah, he kind of goes in, tells him to do play this, play that. Yeah, but it's like done. And yeah, and he's off, forgets his jacket, comes back, forgot my jacket. And then this is what I say. Now next it goes through this is where I was confused, but like because it felt like they were setting up to be New York, but like everything about the first scene when he's kind of walking out of the studio and then down the street, and then it was like that New York. I was just like,
yeah,
I was like, no, I would just
like it.
They were doing the yellow cabs, and I think New York is really the only city left with yellow cabs. DC, they're red. Other places there are no cabs left. But no. And the other thing they show the steam pipe kind of coming up, the orange steam pipe, which is characteristic of New York because it's really still most of their boilers are way underground and they need the steam grates. But I think the setting is New York, but it was filmed in Los Angeles for some strange, like, why wouldn't you film it in New York?
Maybe budget, maybe just flying everybody, maybe just easier to keep it in LA. And I'll give them credit. I do think they did a good attempt at trying to make not New York. But yeah, I think if you just I don't know, so it just doesn't, I don't know how to explain it. I mean, I think you kind of just nailed it. It just doesn't quite look like it. It's especially because it's supposed to be like just you can pick apart and realize that's got to be filmed somewhere else.
Yeah, and then they kind of hide it, and I mean that in a way because he's in the most pristine university college for music. He says that later it's the best in the world. That's why I picked it. And then they just don't show the campus or anywhere around it.
Just like the studios. Yep.
Yeah, but the girlfriend, she's at Fordham, and that's in Brooklyn. So you're, that's kind of you don't have to. I think they're going for like Schaefer being like a Juilliard.
Yeah,
that's
not
what
quite.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Juilliard was fun as depicted in the film. Is this one not on the film? I bet it's not. Fame. Did I put Fame on the Wheel of Film?
Please
Because
don't.
well, now I
I've never seen it, so I've got no
will.
opinion on it.
Oh, now I definitely will.
Oh,
There are very
I will
few
let Highlander put Braveheart.
there are very few musical-ish films that I like, but I do like. We'll have to talk about it. We'll have to discuss.
But yeah. So we get him. He goes. Now we kind of get from Andrew straight away because we get the cinema kind of thing. He's like, he goes and has a very just nothing conversation with the girl behind the counter. I suppose cashier or whatever you want to call her, and then he goes off to watch, a movie with his dad. That's kind of nice. He's seems to be closer, but you can see like just his interaction and how he talks to his dad. His dad's kind of, trying to get a conversation. He's just a bit.
He's elsewhere. It seems like his mind is elsewhere. He's a million miles away, and no pun intended with the name being Miles. Well, I guess it's actually his real name. I always call him Miles in this movie. That's his real name, Andrew. And one thing I love about this, and I'll kind of circle back to it shortly, is I love the way he has the interaction with, I believe it's Melissa Benoist. I always say her name wrong. Is it Benoist or Benoist?
Benoist. I think
Benoist.
It's Benoist.
You do pronounce the S, right?
I guess I do.
Former Supergirl from the CW show.
Oh my gosh, it is.
Yeah, that's her. I love this interaction with them because it goes to show you, one, the start of his character, where his character's journey and arc is going to go. Because he seems like a very nice kid just chasing down a dream at this point. Unsure if he's even going to get it. Very not very confident in himself. He's at this school because he thinks he can be something, and he has his, buddy Rich, he has his idols and all that. But he's not super confident. You can tell at this point he's not a super confident guy. And that interaction with Fletcher really just kind of sends him down a little bit more, where you see him interact with Melissa Benoist's character, and he's kind of like, as he's walking away, it's awkward. It's super awkward. There's no chemistry between them, but it's by design in this sense. At least I believe it to be. Not so much that it's just two actors who don't have chemistry. Like they wanted it to be awkward like that.
There you go. Natty's kind of right. 11. Kind of an 11 kind of vibe, isn't it? Yeah. Kind of, yeah. It's you don't know where it fits at the moment.
Chat was talking about The Godfather. Chat's having a
there you
whole.
go. Sorry, I was there you go. Natty, complete oven.
So,
so we got. But no, but it's that kind of character, isn't it? Where it's a bit odd.
He's just lack of self-confidence, young kid trying to figure out what, his place in his career and the world, the whole thing. Probably not a ladies' man type of, college student. You get that vibe off of him. And Fletcher really shakes his confidence even more in that interaction that they have. And you see kind of as Fletcher, starts to instill some confidence in him, how that changes almost immediately, specifically with the next interaction he'll have with Melissa Benoist's character. Nicole, I think it is actually. So I like that. It's a subtle thing that you don't really realize they're doing it until the next part comes through.
But yeah,
and also, sorry, I gush about this movie. Also, I love the father in this movie. I think it's a very low key, great father character in this movie.
I forgot his name. What is it?
I can't remember. Speaking of 11, because it just made me think of Stranger Things. He's in Stranger Things actually.
The actor's
as the doctor.
Paul Reiser.
Yes.
That's it. Yeah, he's always been the dad. Always, he's always the dad.
Well, it's funny
one of them.
He's got that vibe too, like a dad vibe to him.
Yeah, we have people like don't grow, doesn't seem to age. He's just been the dad age. The dad age always plays the dad,
and he's just such a good dad. They wrote such a good dad in this movie. He's just looking out for his kid. He's encouraging the dreams, but he also, will see in the scene, he knows exactly how to keep him in check too, with his ego that's growing. He knows how to support him when he needs the support. It's such a good, and you find out a little bit about Andrew's mother and kind of how, where she's involved in his life and all that. And it's just like a nice little undertone of a really nice father-son story that I think gets overshadowed by how great Miles and J.K. Simmons are both in this movie.
Yeah. So we get things now. He's a freshman, isn't it? I think he's counts that later on. So so he's set up doing, I suppose, their what they do at this college, I suppose.
The regular
university.
program,
Yeah,
that he's
regular
probably
program.
just in the regular program,
Mhm.
but the school has,
Yeah.
special, and most of these
Now,
schools do. They have performance teams, performance groups.
Now, I'm guessing this one that you could pick to do jazz because it's all jazz. Like even when the teacher comes in, he does jazz. They do jazz.
Mhm.
It's like that straight away, don't they? So
Mhm.
yeah, it's all they're all kind of the practicing just to kind of lead into it. Now he's out. I can't remember the other drummer's name because he's in the seat, isn't he? And then it's the other one
It
who's
is Ryan Connolly.
Ryan. That's it, Ryan. And then of course they do their play, and then they see. I like how they quickly just go see the shadow quickly at the door, and then goes back, doesn't it? To it's Fletcher having a quick listen, and yeah.
And I also like the dynamic between this band that he's in, or this jazz orchestra, whatever you want to call it, versus the next one he's going to. Because in this one, you got the guy that makes the comment like, "Oh man, we've been hurting with Neiman," because it's Andrew Neiman. We've been hurting with Neiman on the kits. And Ryan comes over and he's like, "Hey man, don't listen." Like, it's very friendly, very encouraging at this point. It's the next stage where it's like it's cutthroat. It's totally different when you're under Fletcher's command and his band. But in this one, it's supportive. I actually, the Ryan character seems like a really nice guy. You almost feel bad for how Andrew starts to treat him later on in the movie, because he was the first one to lend out that friendly hand of like, don't worry about it, man. You'll figure it out. Don't worry about these guys. And the dynamic just totally changes once he moves bands.
Yeah. So yeah, we can see like straight away because like when he's like got the CDs, he's just listening to that beat. It's taking him over, isn't it? You can see like I think even later if he's got no friends, but in this he's going through the dormitory and he gets back and he's just listening, just sits down.
Everybody's like partying around him, all these in the hallways and all that, and he's just laser focused on his deal.
Yeah, and of course it goes back. It's quite next day, this day, next day, this day, this movie, and of course they get straight into next day, and Holt turns up, of course, he's the freshman, walks in, and I like literally just takes over the room. If you were the teacher, like he must have some really ball in it, because like, if you don't mind, and he's just like,
and you can subtly see the other teacher, especially when he like immediately gets up and walks it back. He's kind of got a little face on, like this friggin' guy again. So you can tell there's like it's super subtle, but it's a nice little bit of acting of like, oh, here we go. It's Fletcher. He's back because he's the king of the school. Like you can tell there's that tension between this teacher and Fletcher.
And he just takes over the class, doesn't he? Like,
And I was gonna say, I'm sure it's like all teachers in Fletcher have this tension because this is what he does. He comes in and acts like everything's his kingdom.
Yeah. And so he goes through the, like, what is it? Like, not even 3 seconds, does he? Like that.
Oh, barely.
Go, done. No, next, go, done. And then, of course, he gets onto the drums. Of course, it's Ryan first. Then he gets, it must be an alternate still like that. So he gets on, doesn't he? And he goes, no, like, I heard you, and like, yeah, he gets on. And he doesn't I like how he doesn't say anything, and he's literally then, all right, I'm off. I think he just says drums come with me.
Yeah.
Doesn't he? Like any
drums, 6 in the morning or whatever.
Yeah, what are you? Yeah, come be tomorrow 6 a.m. Be there. We start at 6, and he's like that.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's kind of thing, and then it's a good.
It's interesting because it starts to set up like, okay, this guy's not only just like a hard ass drill sergeant, he's a master manipulator. This whole thing is for show. He's not here for anybody in that room other than Andrew Neiman, who he knew he was there for a reason I'll get into shortly. At least why I think it's Andrew that he picks. But this whole thing, like, listen to the different. It's all for show. It's just he wants to get Andrew, but he doesn't want Andrew to know he's there just for him. He still wants to manipulate him and say, yeah, like, you're the guy I want, but you're not like a chosen one or anything. Like, I want you kind of to be clay in my hand. I don't want you to come in with an ego that you were chosen by me, that you deserve something. It's, it's the whole charade of, oh yeah, let's listen to every group. Oh, I guess I'll take this guy and we'll see. Again, just not to instill, it's manipulative. He doesn't want to instill too much confidence in this kid because he needs him malleable in his hand, like clay.
And then of course we go back to straight away. He goes back to see what was she?
Nicole.
Superwoman.
Nicole. Yep, she was Supergirl. Supergirl.
Supergirl.
Supergirl.
You can call her Supergirl. I'm
can
sure
just call
she's
her
fine with
Supergirl.
that.
Supergirl. There we go. And then they have the weirdest. Can I
It's
ask
so
you, Anna?
sweet.
Super awkward.
Do you? It's so awkward.
It's super awkward, but it is sweet and charming in
It's
that
sweet,
sense of
yeah.
Especially because she
it's-
makes a joke, you
Right.
know?
Yep.
She's like, can you leave? Like, you're bothering me, go away. And she's so serious. And then she just cracks up laughing. And I I liked him so much here
Mhm.
that it made me hate him more later,
Yep.
you know, because I really like this scene.
Mhm. And this is the first, like, now he's got a little bit of that confidence. Fletcher finally instilled it in him. So now he feels like he can, put it elsewhere in the world, not just in his music career.
Yeah. And then from that, he oversleeps like after arranging a date.
Now,
Wednesday,
come
7 o'clock.
on. If you had the opportunity, you'd not only set an alarm, you'd tell your
Oh
dad
my
to call you. You would have
Yeah,
you
backup
have
plan.
all
10 different alarms going off. Yeah. I've got
Oh
an
my
alarm
God.
here just in case I turn it off. Got one across the room. I've got my neighbors going to knock on my door if they're up. The milkman's going to shout at me at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to be ready, fresh, get my coffee, and I'll be there at 6. But of course, he oversleeps, falls down the stairs like that, runs in, and then of course nobody's there, and he has to wait 3 hours. Now this was, I'm 100% this was purposely done. There's not going to be a
absolutely.
It's just a manipulation.
Yeah, it's going to be this. And he probably knew, probably had, whatever security to find out. Did he turn up? It probably something very, very simple. Yeah. So he, of course, they're all getting ready. And yeah, and he does. He comes in like, they're all set to attention. He makes them, when
At
Fletcher
9
comes in.
a.m., like on the second.
Yeah, and he
He's
does.
just a
One of them
force.
calls something, doesn't he? I can't remember what they call out. One of them calls something like with 10 seconds to go or something. Like he would come in, and he does that. Don't clock. Red. The second line, second hand smacks on 9. He's through the door, and he comes in. Coat on the coat hanger. And everybody's waiting for the word. What is the word going to be? And he's like, and he does it's been like probably the same way he does it, music sheets, that's it. It's the same repetitive of what he probably does, everything. And they're just waiting for him to give the signal. None of them are like really looking up, they're like,
and you're not going to jump ahead. Damn well he's going to say, open, get your charts out, whatever it is. But you're not going to be the one to jump ahead because you understand, like, this is a drill sergeant. You do it on his command and only on his command. As you'll see, you don't rush or drag. You're not ahead or slow with it.
And it's all now every bit just getting from, and he's perfectionist, frustrated himself, but he's just getting like it's you're not even going to have a chance. It's every moment. No, then they finally kind of get there, don't they? So it's what is it? Is this the one? It's the out of tune. There's somebody, isn't it? Is it this bit?
Is it?
I think that's the next.
I think it's the next one.
next
Yeah, I
bit?
think
Okay.
it's
Rehearsal.
I think it might be the next one.
No, is it? No, is this? But yeah, I've just got the thing up now. Yeah, is this?
Is it
bit,
this one? Okay.
Yeah, it's the bit. Yeah, just flick through. I got the
Okay,
screen on
so funny thing about this then, because I thought it was the next one. Funny thing about this scene. So I actually sent you guys in Discord a little snippet of a conversation J.K. Simmons had with Michael Rosenbaum on Michael Rosenbaum, I believe that's his name, his Inside of You podcast. And I did not realize that there was a short film made for this before the real film. And that short film was actually this scene.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Daryl posted it in chat a few minutes ago. Daryl was ahead of us as well.
Oh, no kidding. I didn't see that.
At the Sundance Film Festival.
Yeah. So what the story goes, according to J.K. Simmons, he's like, when I read this script, it was one of the most brilliant things I've read in my entire life. He's like, I needed to be a part of it. He's like, to the point where we were flying to wherever it was. I think he actually says flying to New York in that interview to film a small short film just to try to get it in front of studio's eyes so that they could see the potential in it. He's like, it was just so brilliant that I needed to be part of it. He's like, I'm talking, we're all making like $100 doing this thing. but I needed to be a part of it. And he's like talking to the director. The director's like, well, we won't put the onus on you to get all the technical aspects right. And he's like, I looked back at him like, oh, you don't realize, like, I went to music school. I thought I was going to be a composer, conductor my whole life. So he had a huge background on this. And then you find out Miles Teller had been drumming since he was a young kid in rock bands, So he had, I guess the director had always eyed Miles Teller for the role, not even realizing he had a drumming background. So the way it all came together with the passion for the script from the director to the actors to the choices they made just by chance with them having these musical backgrounds, to watching, even I did watch the short film. It's only 18 minutes long. It is legitimately this scene, spot for spot, stroke for stroke. It is exactly this scene. And it's so damn good. It's one of my favorites. It's brilliant.
Now, I know he's mean in the grand scheme too. I can't remember what he calls him now. He gives them a nickname. So he gives everybody like horrible nicknames.
Elmer Fudd was this guy's.
Yeah, and he kind of goes up to him on the whole scene, doesn't he? Of like, the whole bit is, were you out of tune? He goes, was it you? Because he gets like whichever like the section it was.
And he knows exactly who it is. The whole, he knows who it is. But he's like, let's try this group. Let's try that group. Again, just his manipulation and breaking down. I get
that he had to kick him out. I get that.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, does he go about it rough? Absolutely. But like, when he makes his point, I love that line when he's like, for the record, Smith, it was you who was out of tune. Yeah. But Elmer Fudd didn't know whether he was or wasn't. And that is just as bad, if not worse. It's like, you hear that, you're like, damn it, he's right. He is right.
But I get, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, he is the drill sergeant in the thing, because like I say I've served, and I get where you could have somebody come into your unit and they could be really good at their job, but they don't fit, and you need to get rid of them because they don't fit with the group you've got on the moment. Yeah, that is it. That is what he's doing. It's not because he's probably rubbish. One, he's can't stand up for himself. Okay, but that's the way I can get you out. It's also that I knew you were going to play down that you didn't know that you were in tune. Most people are like, no, it was, fight their own battle. He couldn't. Right. So I completely get that. I think I didn't mind the kind of, but even when it gets worse, just because I was like, you need that sometimes. Yeah. Okay. It's academic kind of music and like that. I get it, but I also get what the teacher is trying to go for here, is when he's going drill sergeant full thing. I get it. I just literally get it. Yeah,
for sure. So, and I think that's what's so interesting about this Fletcher character is that he comes off as an asshole, and by all means, I mean, he is a bit of an asshole. Not a bit. I mean, there's times where he goes way over the line and he's an asshole. But the concept of, I like how the movie and the story itself walks that fine line of what's the difference between, or what's the overstepping point of pushing people and challenging them to get the absolute best out of them in ways that other people may be too soft to push other people in, because this guy really pushes the boundaries, like to the point where it does go overboard. But some people won't do that. We'll hear the line later on where he says about, the two worst words being good job. Some people aren't willing to push other people that much. Whether it just be they're too kind-hearted or whatever it may be, just not willing to go to those lengths, or they just don't know how to, or don't feel like they should be the one to push them because they didn't achieve that greatness themselves. What's that fine line between being that person who pushes and challenges to being just abusive and overboard? And the movie kind of really explores that.
But yeah, that, like, it's to say the first bit, even when after he gets his I want you here, kind of like that is very, and he like tells him, backstories, or everything. He's like very, I'm going to mentor you. I'm going to take it. Like, he gives a very soft, like shoulder straight, first of all, until of course the next session when he kind of, takes out, you go on it. And he literally, and again, this is the bit where he throws the symbol at his
Throws
head.
a chair. It was a
the
chair.
chair.
It was a
So
metal
Symbols have a
chair.
god.
Yeah, he talks about
yeah.
the symbol from Buddy Rich's experience, or whoever it was that had
Charlie
that experience.
Parker.
Charlie Parker,
Yeah.
that's what it was.
Yeah.
And I love the scene. I love how this whole scene goes, because you have that bit of him. You almost think, oh, this is a nice guy. He does like this Andrew character. He's asking about his family, asking these things, and that's not what Fletcher's doing. Fletcher is just gaining ammo. Yep, exactly. He's manipulating. He wants to make you feel safe, make you feel comfortable, because I'm about to come at you like a wrecking ball, and I need a little extra intel from you, and I need you to give it to me willingly so that I can throw it right back in your face in about 10 minutes. And that he does. And for the record, for anybody in chat who didn't, he asked about like his dad, his mom. That's when we find out his dad is kind of a not so successful writer. His mother has left them when he was a baby. And, he kind of asks that in a way that seemed like he's a nice guy, just like, hey, what's your backstory, man? And within 30 seconds, he's using that as ammo to just fire insults at him about not being as good. He'll be just as much of a failure as his dad, and no wonder his mother left him. I mean, he gets really personal and brutal. And that's the only reason he asked those questions in the first place. Not to be a nice guy, but to have ammo to try to, again, challenge and push this person. But it's that line of, dude, you're getting close to abusive, if not you are abusive.
Yeah. But it's like this whole thing is like, yeah, go do it. And it's just literally then I need to be up in your face. And he gets like that. And he's even like that, can't you read the tempo? You're like, what are you doing here?
Are you rushing or dragging?
Yeah. And it's just, and it's just like, brutal. If you don't know, and it's just like, I might like, you're upset. Well, tell everybody, like that. And it's just, I'm going to belittle you. And it's like that. Yeah. It's are you going to stay? Yeah, but it's good. I feel it's like if you can't hack it, you're going to not come back. If you're coming back after that, you want it. And
I might have something here. And I think that's one of the things that's interesting about Fletcher choosing Miles Teller's character is that he's not at least in my perspective of it, he's not choosing him because he's the most talented. I mean, he wasn't even the core member of the band that he was in prior to this. The Connolly character was. To me, he's choosing him because he sees a kid that has a dream and wants to be pushed. I think he can see the dedication in him from that scene in the beginning of him drumming alone in a room, like not partying like other students. And he doesn't have that cockiness that you see the Ryan character have when he's kind of all smirks and smiles when Fletcher walks in, like he's going to be the one that gets chosen to be part of Fletcher's group. He doesn't have that ego yet, and he doesn't have that confidence. And I feel like he picks him specifically because he's got enough talent that he thinks he can pull something out of him. But more importantly, he doesn't have an ego, and he's somebody that he can just control the whole way through. He looks at himself as, I am God, you are my puppet. Let me see what I can make out of you. And that's more why he's chosen than the idea of he was the most talented for it.
And he's not going to give him anything.
No.
Fletcher's not going to give. Everything that he gets from Fletcher, he's going to have to earn or take. And I think, for the audience, you just want to not like Fletcher. But I think this film really quickly starts to let you synthesize what he's doing before, kind of 3/4 of the way through when, he, talks about, needing for Miles to earn it. But I think you start to figure that out kind of early. You still don't like him. He's not a nice guy. He's not a good guy, but you do understand his motivation. You don't have to agree 100%. With it, but you understand.
Right. You don't agree with it. You don't agree with the way he goes about it, but you can understand where he's coming from. And I think that's what makes the character work, because if he was just an asshole, he would just be somebody you want to see, fail or go down in some capacity, whether it be fired or whatever it is. But, the way they write it, it's very clever. They make you understand him and see where he's coming from, which kind of totally shifts how you view that character. Is he still an ass? Absolutely. Is he still mean as hell? Sure. But it goes from being just a total jerk to a jerk with a plan, or a jerk with, a means to an end, so to speak.
Yeah. So, of course, we find out why the movie's called Whiplash. Like that, because it's the piece of music, of course, and we get now Andrew going back and gonna practice as hard as he can. Now, I any musicians like, I don't get this bit, okay? Because he's been playing, like,
Yep.
for, you got
He
like
would have had a
video.
calluses there, right? He's been
Yeah,
playing
like
his whole
when
life.
I was younger, like playing guitar, like I was playing and then I could see the blood just dripping down my hand.
Mhm.
And then you
Mm.
just play through it, let it
And you
heal,
even,
play
like,
through it.
after a while,
Yeah.
your fingertips get the calluses from
Yeah.
sliding up and down the string, so it's not as bad.
Yeah.
I
But
think
drums,
this
like,
went from
but
and you
see the
would think he would
drummers,
have
yeah,
some calluses from being a drummer for a
yeah,
lot of his life too. So I think
yeah,
this was just visual effect for,
yeah.
like, the pain and the blood, sweat, and tears type of
Yeah, it's just showed that beginning like thing
Right.
because you see like some heavy metal drummers, they like add the tape and they
Oh
just
yeah,
tape
they're
up
all
their
taped
hands like
up. Even
just to go like that.
even
So
concert drummers are taped
yeah,
up. So that's the other thing.
Mhm.
Like he would have
yeah.
been, I think he would have been taped up. I
Mm.
gotta tell you, the one nit that I have about this film is this song. I can't stand this song.
Oh, really? So I like
I
Whiplash. I like
don't
Whiplash and Caravan quite a
Mm.
bit.
I like the other one. I liked Caravan. This one I didn't like. And I don't know why. I can't say why. I have
Oh,
no
I've got it
idea
stuck in my
why.
head as you're saying it. I've got it
That's
stuck
the
in my head.
thing.
I love
I
this
didn't want
song.
it stuck in my head. It's something about it. And maybe I'm not maybe I don't I do like syncopated music because I like
Mm.
ragtime. So,
Mhm.
I don't know, but yeah, I just didn't like this
Yeah.
song. But that's the
Fair
only
enough.
small
Mhm.
little issue I have with this film is this song. I would have liked like a better song. That's all. For
I
me.
suppose it's one of the ones that did have an intricate drumming piece. That's probably why.
Yeah,
It's
fair
Yeah,
enough.
with
but
that.
And
And they
and to your
wanted to show off that symbol because if you're doing a
right.
high top, you have to you can show that. Otherwise,
Mhm.
anything
Well,
else you're
and
not
the
going to
double
show.
time is such a
Yeah.
big thing. You find out later on the double time is such a big thing with
Yeah.
the two characters and why, J.K. Simmons' character specifically let him know that he wanted to see his double time. You'll see
Mm.
later on
Yeah.
and all that. I will say to your point though, Sandy, Caravan is definitely the better song than Whiplash. I would agree
I
there.
think so.
So we get that, and then we get a date. The date, the most awkwardest date
Again,
ever. Oh my
awkward, no
God.
It's
chemistry,
so
but by
sweet.
design, I think.
It's
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah.
It's by design, and I think
Yeah.
that's exactly what they're
Yeah.
going for, Sandy,
Very
in
real.
terms of feel.
Mhm.
That sweet, awkward, couple, young adults, 19, 20-year-olds figuring out, chemistry with one another. They're going for that, and I think they nail it. Because hey, I've been on a few awkward dates like this in my time, and it's very realistic to me. I actually really like this, the way they I
I do
think they
too.
designed it. Maybe they just didn't have chemistry, and that's just how it worked. But I like that they designed it with this little lack of chemistry and awkward kind of thing. Because again, Miles' character, Andrew, in this
And
is not a confident guy.
He's
So
awkward.
this
He
is
is
how a date
awkward.
Yeah.
would go with him,
Yep.
realistically.
He's not a people person. And of course, the conversation goes to, hey, what do your parents do? And
Mhm.
that's his little trauma, is, his mom and,
Mhm.
and the relationship with his dad is great. But, those kind of conversations often go right to
Right.
that. But I think they handled it incredibly well. You're
Mhm.
right. The awkwardness. I like this. I really like the scenes of him and her, up to a point. I
Mhm.
really do.
Yeah,
Um,
and there's
I
not to that point. Melissa Benoist is really good in this role. It's not
She
much.
is.
She's not in it a ton, but I love her in this role. I think she's great.
a question though: if you cut out her character and that relationship bit, you don't need it in this movie. It doesn't need it. You
I
don't
gotta
need
push
it.
back on that. I think
I'm
you
gonna
do
push back
Really?
on
because
that too.
Oh,
because
Yep.
really? I
you
don't
need
think.
the
I don't
next.
think you need
I
it.
think you need the kind of end point of their relationship to further show where his character is going.
What at the
and
end?
kind of
Yeah.
changing him. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
can
agree.
understand what you mean by not needing
Mm,
these specifically, but I think you need these to get to that point, and
okay.
that point is necessary for his character arc.
I agree with you, Jay, and I think Natty made a
Well,
really
sod you
good.
then.
I'm sorry.
America wins
Hold it.
again.
Well, Natty made a really good point in chat, and I'm scrolling up to find it because I really
She says,
like the way she said, um, about, oh heck, I can't find it, but Natty, you made a point about it. In a sense, Miles made a decision at the end, and he sort of sold his soul to the devil right at
Oh,
the
yep,
end.
I've got it. I've got it. Oh, sorry. Let me see if I can pop it on. I just saw it. Let me see if I can pop it up on the screen here. Sorry, go ahead, Sadie. I didn't mean to just
Yeah, it's
interrupt.
that one though, and I think that's it. I think, when ultimately he makes his choice, I think Yes, Natty, that's the one. Yep. The kid isn't socially awkward. People just aren't his love. That's true. He'd rather sell his soul to the devil to become the best. Yep,
And
he
you
did.
almost have to wonder what effect his mother leaving at such a young age had on him in terms of his relationship with women going forward. His comfortable, the level of comfort he has even speaking to them, in general, trying to, hit on one and get one to go on a date. And also just the idea of like, do you need a relationship? Like, he sees his father didn't have one. It worked out fine. Like, I think that's another little layer they're
Yes.
going for with this, but they don't kind of tap into as obviously as I think, they maybe could have. But I do think that has something to do with his lack of just personal relationships, especially as it pertains to him and other women.
Ooh, now I think they really did hit on it though, Jay. I think
Mhm.
they did go into it. You know that little fake conversation that he has with himself when he's telling her how she's going to dump him
Actually,
eventually?
yep.
That whole thing when I'm sorry, we're jumping around, but there's
I
so
know.
many layers to this film.
Well,
I
so
think
much connects to different parts of the
Yes.
movie that it's hard to stay.
It doesn't work.
I
It's
think
hard to
when he's
stay in the
doing
same
that
spot.
Yeah, I think when he's doing that, I think that is where he's tapping into
Mhm.
whatever his dad may have told him about his mom.
Mhm.
And I think that's exact because where else is that going to come
Right.
from? Because he is awkward and he doesn't have those relationships. So, and we'll see that in a bit. But yeah, it all does thread together. It certainly
Mhm.
does.
Now, next scene leads up to who fucked over the drummer? Let's be honest. So the next bit is called leading up to the show where he's the alternate.
Mhm.
And it's all about they're practicing and the
Don't
folder.
lose the book.
The
Don't
folder.
lose it. I
And
think
he
J.K. Simmons took it.
Oh, yep, 100% to me. 100%
He walked
to
by
me.
and he
It's
took
him.
it,
Mhm.
picked it up.
Yeah,
And I
that's the
would
only
say I don't
logical.
even know that he walked by as much as might have been hiding around the corner waiting to set this up, because he makes an
Yeah.
emphasis about the book.
Yeah.
Just prior to this, he makes a specific emphasis on it. And lo and behold, the guy who, he's clearly trying to mold into the image he wants him to be is the one who benefits from the whole scenario.
Mhm.
Again, cutthroat in this band. You see the aggravation with the original core drummer and Miles Teller's character in this. And, obviously you can understand that this kid's worked his whole life for it too, but it's the brilliance of the Terrence Fletcher character that, like, he doesn't really care about that kid because that kid's not going to be the Buddy Hall that he wants out of this. Maybe Miles Teller can. So your career be damned. I'm going to use you as just another pawn in my game of chess going on here. So there goes that kid's seat. There goes
How can you
everything
not
he's worked
memorize
for.
your music though? How
Had
can you
to.
not memorize?
Literally,
Had
I
to.
really did that. I was like, really?
That
And then he
seemed
came-
like the only bit of writing that
Yeah.
I'm like, a little convenient.
then
this
later
kid
on,
doesn't, has a medical condition or whatever he says.
Yeah,
that
but
Oh
then
my
he
God!
doesn't
Yeah, he
allow
was
him to.
reaching. He
Yeah.
was reaching.
That's the
Yeah,
one
he
part
does
of writing that
visual
I'm like,
cues.
that's
I
a
need
little
visual
weak.
he does quit being a musician, doesn't he? And then goes like
Yeah, it goes
pre-med or something.
pre-med, yeah,
yeah,
later
does something
on.
like that. And I was like, literally, that'd be the worst. That'd be. Can you imagine having like professional, like any bands, like, well, I don't know, Slash or something, like having his notes up there just in
And a
case.
page
he's like,
turner. Can you
yeah,
get a
page
page
turner.
turner? Can you
Yeah.
imagine?
Yeah,
Somebody had put
oh.
Neil Peart in the chat. I would also bring up John Bonham. If you're gonna say Neil Peart, you must say John Bonham. But yeah, I mean, seriously, who needs a page turner? Come on.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not, but there's a lot of songs I can play now, and I could probably, I'd just like you can do it,
Just
without
pure
even-
memory. Yeah, I
And
could.
then he
I
came.
just
could
didn't even look. Yeah, it's like
Yep.
that. It's like my kid can play like "Come as You Are" now, and it's like, yeah, that's it. Well, the opening lick, like that, and I don't have to, like, you don't have to. You just remember it.
It's like
it's like
It's
muscle
like, is the
memory.
tempo be all
boom, yeah.
perfect? No, but like that's also
Yeah.
going to be decided by everybody else playing around you. So keep tempo with them.
Yeah, but that's it. Like
that's the one part that's like, that's a little bit of
You
weak writing to get Miles into this spot. Andrew,
but that's
I
the
keep
thing.
calling
Like when you're up on stage, I had it, and then like one of my strings broke through a song.
Mhm.
Can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So you
Gotta
have to
keep
then
going.
you have to keep going, but your brain goes different key, and just
Right.
go into different, like the same kind of things, but you can just do it, and you can just, everybody knows what you're doing. You just have to do it in like a different.
You got to
thing.
get
It
through.
sounds okay.
Right.
Yeah, you got to get through it. So like as a drummer or anything like that, your cymbal's you're gonna get tears. You've just got to improvise. So you would have to learn it off heart. You can't go, oh look,
Yeah.
And, yeah,
to be at this school, I mean, we're talking again an equivalent of Juilliard type of thing.
Yeah.
To be at that school and be that dependent on that is the only way you could excuse it would be having some rare medical condition.
Yeah.
And that's just a little bit of weak writing for me. That's
It
the
was.
one spot where I'm like, ooh, that's the Achilles heel here. That wasn't great. But it's something you can pass over. You know, it's not like it ruins anything in the movie. It's just like,
it just
a little too convenient, huh?
Yeah. But yeah, so he gets on the stage, and of course, they win.
They win the competition.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and
they play Whiplash to win, I believe, in that one.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's why he said like well, because Fletcher goes like, doesn't he? Because that's where Andrew screws over the first, or the whatever you call it, is I know off by heart, and that's how he gets like really, and he kind of just like the right thing to say. But like, yeah, he kind of screws over the other kid like that, like twice, really, because the kid's already kind of going, "You lost my folder," you know. And it's even like, I think when they come back to when he is now the core, or whatever you call it, the number one, somebody goes, "Don't touch."
Yeah, don't touch my folder.
Yeah, my folder. Yeah. And it's just like, oh, that's it. But
and the tension's still there with the I can't remember the name of the original core drummer there, but he's like, you know, don't you put your effing hands on my kid or whatever the hell he says.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know he's been replaced yet. No. He thinks it was just a one-time thing.
Yeah, he's a bit of an arse like that one. They've made him a bit of an arse like that.
And that's the difference between what, you know, the previous type of studio class that Andrew might have been in versus what Fletcher is doing to all the people in this band in order to be able to survive in this band. It's just totally cutthroat.
Now, then we get the dinner scene.
Oh my God. We've all got a family like that, like one part of our family like this, right? Yep. We've all got an auntie or someone whose kids are the most important and most successful.
And they're the best, no matter what accomplishment they have. And you've got the former jock dad who just only cares about sports things and all that.
And one's going to business school and one's getting drafted. And, you know, no, they do, like, you know, art is not generally appreciated in working class families, right? Art is appreciated in wealthy, super hyper wealthy families, but art, music, any of that performance, not cool. You got to be a jock, you got to be a brainiac, and he's just but I think he comes back, like his little quip, you know, for something, forget what the one kid says. And he comes back and says, 4 words you'll never hear from the NFL.
Right. He says something like, you're only in D3 or whatever. It's a joke. And he's like, if you think it's a joke, come play with us. And then he says, 4 words you'll never hear from the NFL.
Yes.
And what I love about this scene is at first you kind of feel for Andrew because you can pick up on that it's that kind of family dinner and it's not really, they don't appreciate what his talent is. And he may very well be technically pound for pound in his realm more talented at what he's doing than what these other people are doing, whether it be the what do they call it, the mock UN student or whatever it was, the football player who's good, but again, it's D3. You know, is it the greatest football? Of course not, but you know, it's respectable in its own right. So, and the Teacher of the Year award for his father, who again, these are all good accomplishments. I think the mother says something like, "What a bunch of talent at this table," and they are like, that's a talented family, 100%. But pound for pound, he may actually be more talented in his realm than they are in theirs. So that frustration he's building, you can understand it. And you almost feel bad for him because it's like, okay, one of those family. But then very quickly, he takes it too far in the other direction where he's now being kind of a dick. And I love the little quip from his father because, again, I love the father character in this because he's so supportive of his son. He recognizes the tension building in his son because the family's not respecting what his accomplishments are. So he's kind of giving him those looks across the table of like concern, like, all right, reel it in a little bit, bud. Like, don't overstep your boundaries here. And then the second he says 4 words you'll never hear, you know, the come play with us, 4 words you'll never hear from the NFL, his father very quickly to put him back in check says, and what about Lincoln Center? Meaning Lincoln Center's not going to say that to you anytime soon either. And I just thought it's such a brilliant little bit of his father knowing his son through and through to say, all right, I was with you until you've now overstepped your boundaries. Now I have to put you back in check so you don't.
Well, I think he did that previously. He didn't get really. It was just a slight answer. It was where I think the uncle was talking like, "Oh, what are you going to be?" And he was like,
"Is there a job that comes with that?"
Like, no. And he goes,
"From
"What,
the
you just
school,
you're gonna earn no money, you be famous like that." And he was like, "I'd rather be dead at 34
Yeah, it goes
and
into all
everybody
that.
knows me, and then that, and this is like I did like Andrew, like this is when this was. I remember from the first time I watched it, was the point. I don't like him.
Yep,
And
this is where his character starts to change,
I
and it's all because of the confidence Fletcher
yeah,
now put into him. That
yeah,
same
because
ego
now
he picked him for
yeah.
not having, he now has.
Yep.
Yeah, look at and he belittles like okay, you're having a bit of like banter across the family, blah blah blah, and there's always that undertone of love. He just becomes a little bit of a nasty shit, to be honest, like that. And I must say I didn't like him when I said with the geeky interaction with the Cole character, and then this bit I'm just like. I'm just rooting for Fletcher to hit you with a chair.
With a symbol.
Come on, Fletcher. Just literally rip his balls out, play the drums with him, that sort of thing. Because I just didn't like his character after this, literally. And I like, we get to the end, like later. I don't think he's got any redeeming characters either. And this was like the moment I was like, oh, I just don't like you. And I like the Fletcher character, maybe because J.K. Simmons does such a great job.
Unbelievable.
But I'm kind of like, yeah, and I was like, yeah, I can understand that character, what his motives are. Your motives are kind of gone wishy-washy. And I like, when we get later, is when he gets reeled in, he can't deal with it. So, yeah. But yeah, it's, of course, is it now when he brings in Ryan, doesn't he?
Is it? Yes, I believe actually.
And yeah, this is it. It's just like, yeah, you undermined that kid. I can quickly bring in somebody who can undermine you. And he literally does. He's like,
and I think he does it on purpose because he's getting that little bit of an ego, and he's like, no.
You're
not good.
That.
Right.
If
you're going to be the clay in my hand, I can't let you get too much ego. I need to continuously build you up and break you down just enough that you stay right in the center of my palm.
Yeah. And he thinks at this point, he thinks he is drumming royalty, doesn't he?
Yeah,
and
he's like, he's full on cocky and an asshole at this point.
Yeah, and of course Ryan goes in, then he's just like, and he's literally he loses it like that. He just everything they're doing is like he's wrong, and from that, you get now he realizes it can be everything can be taken away from me. It's just like that. It's just like it's to the point where we get back to what you guys said earlier with the self-dumping, I suppose you want to call it, split up, where you guys got another kind of awkward. It's
the one thing that he's got like that's good.
That's truly good, like that meaningful stuff in life, relationships you build with other people.
And he doesn't father and son, you have to, that's kind of taken for granted, right? You have to have that. But this is the one good thing that you've helped to build and create, and you have singularly destroyed it because of what you think someone's going to do in the future. And she even said that. So you're breaking up with me because of what you think I'm going to do in the future. And he's like,
because you think you can't be great because of me, which I love the way it's not just like the scene doesn't go with him saying all that and her just standing up saying like, oh, you're an asshole and leaving. She really I love this scene. I think she's really good acting in this scene specifically. Very good. But again, it's that like challenging him with everything. Like, so you're sitting there trying to tell me that you're destined for so much greatness. And because I'm just wandering through schooling and life, that I'm going to be a detriment to you and you can't be great because of me. Like it's like, let me make sure I'm getting this right before I walk out of here.
Yeah.
And she's brilliant in that little bit. I think she was phenomenal in that.
But you find out later, and she does it well. There's no crying, there's no yelling, there's no cursing. She's from Arizona. She's not from New York. That's right. If she were from New York or Baltimore, it'd be a little different.
Yep.
But you find out like, okay, she's disconnected very quickly because later on you find out she's got another boyfriend. Like, he really hurt her. And you know what? He laid out his decision so well that she obviously concluded, well, there's no way back. So I'm moving forward.
Right. And to be frank, it's like, if this is the person you are, I don't really want to be with you anyway. So see ya.
Bye-bye.
And it's not
made
been
the right
like it's not
decision.
like they've been together like 3 years. He's now
No.
not like
Yeah,
he's not
it's
like a
right. It's only
graduate, is
been
he?
a short time,
Yeah.
most likely.
So yeah, I'm just
But
like,
I just love it
if
because
I
I
had to
think,
listen to that, I would be like, yeah, I'm going
oh
now.
yeah, I'd be like, dude, are you
what
all
are
right?
you
Like,
talking about?
is something
Not
wrong
Like,
with you?
normal.
where's your
It's
meds?
That's
I'd be like,
that's
where's your
insane.
meds?
Seriously.
Yeah.
No, 100%.
Well, I'm
And I
like-
love that she gets up. First, she gives him a little piece of it, right? First, she gives him a piece of her mind, and then she's like, you know what? You're right. We're not meant to be together.
Yeah.
See you, bud.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah, see,
bye-bye.
Great.
yeah.
And I think
not-
it's just so
be like-
important to show,
yeah.
like, again, that you're talking about this character who a few scenes ago was this really nice, no confidence kid who you're kind of pulling for to succeed, has just gotten a slight bit of affirmation from the guy he idolizes, and it's completely warped his persona, his reality, his perspective, everything, to the point where he's just become this asshole. And I think because it's so off-putting how he not only how he does this whole speech of like, I'm going to break up with you, but really just throw a monologue with myself. It's the arrogance of, you think you're that great? What the hell have you accomplished in life that you think you're that great that I would stop you from being what you're destined to be? That hubris and arrogance is just insane. And he did not have that until this Fletcher character starts manipulating him into what he wants him to be.
Yeah. It's a millennial, isn't it?
Fair enough. As a millennial, I could say fair enough.
Yeah, damn it. But yeah, so it's cringy. It's kind of I just didn't get it. But yeah, you're like,
fair enough.
it's just some things. But yeah, but we get into that. I like the next bit. I think this is quite good when he gets so frustrated when he's trying to do the carousel like things and he punches the drum kit. I've had that when you just like, Bob. I wouldn't do it with it like drums.
You break something you regret breaking.
A little expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to smash.
There's been a few
£1,000
Xbox controllers
guitar.
that have gotten nothing too expensive,
Yeah.
but I've gone through a few $60 Xbox controllers from Elden Ring before. That's for sure.
It's getting through those doors.
Golf clubs. Oh yeah, I've snapped a golf club or
when
two.
you finally do beat Elden Ring. I mean, I can, that feeling. So I do understand the Elden Ring. But
I've got a driver that's got to be sitting in the woods of a golf course and still two pieces still to this day.
Oh man,
so, fair enough.
Oh yeah, but lucky it's just a drum skin. So like, he missed out. But you can see like he's like sometimes I'd probably say this I've had it with so many like writer's blocks or doing like learning a new track or whatever it is, new piece, and then sometimes you just go, look, give it up, I'm gonna come back tomorrow. But he's just trying to do it, and you're making the same mistakes. You can and for that perfection, and he's just getting frustrated, and he releases out on his kit. And it's like sometimes you're like, and he's so like naive and not has the knowledge. And sometimes you take a deep breath, walk away, come back, and that's it. That's sometimes the greatest experience you can have. It's like, I ain't working today, and like everybody gets it. Like one of the days you just like, what am I doing? My brain's just gone tomato soup,
100%.
and everybody's had those days. And it's just when you just need to go walk away, go outside, whatever you do,
fresh mind, full stomach, the whole deal, and sometimes you come back just ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. You just need sometimes just walk outside, just literally, and forget. And then come back and you're done. Yeah, that's it. But he's just constantly going and making it worse, like making his hands worse at this point because he's trying to get the pivotal. And it's like, no, you're not there. You're not there. So yeah, it's
and it's almost like they kind of show you can. Hello, Matt.
Did you guys hear that?
Hello, Matt.
That's him.
They kind of show.
With his mom.
I think what we're supposed to be seeing in some of those scenes is he's battling between overthinking it and letting go. And, because sometimes you see him closing his eyes and he's in the zone and he is letting go. But then other times he's writing, he's writing the numbers on the sheet of music and he's trying to overthink it. And I feel like that's part of it. But here's the thing. I can't decide what Fletcher wants him to do because he never says, be the ball. You know what I mean? Like never says, just let go and let the music, take over. He did make a comment about, well, don't put the numbers on the, he's
near any
not
reaching
really
temperature.
instructing him. Fletcher's not an instructor. He's not helping his skills. He's just trying to pull out natural talent.
Mhm.
And
Mm.
it's one thing I'm like, I guess it's because this is the performance band, the competition band. So all the musicians should be in class all day to learn their technique and what have you. But like, what is is he supposed to be teaching them or just
Well,
egging them on? I think he just sees himself
So
as pulling
but you
that
get that
talent out.
but you
Yeah.
get that
Mhm.
in the next scene when he is literally the band's going and he's like, "Are you pissing me off?" And he blaming the drummers. There's all three of them there, and
Yep.
he's
And
like,
you're gonna
"Next,
stay.
Ryan and
Everybody else
Andrew
take
on,
20.
get away." And he's literally then he starts taking the piss out of them, calling them names. Like even to Andrew, he's like, "Is this the reason your mum left
yeah,
you?"
he
And he's
gets
just
really
like
harsh.
he's like that, you
But
know.
there's never
Calls the
like,
other one
hey,
gay
Mhm.
pride,
your
like the other
receipt
one,
was
yeah,
adjusted. Did
yeah.
you do like there's no
Was that the effing reason? And he's just like that, and they just
encouragement. There's
So
no
constantly
for me,
going
the way I
over.
kind of take Fletcher in this kind of concept is that, kind of like you just said, Sandy, these guys are in this school. I expect you guys to know how to do the
Mm.
basic stuff to the advanced stuff. Like, I'm not here to teach you more things, so to speak. I'm here to pull the best out of you. So I'm assuming you've already mastered basics, the middle stuff, the advanced stuff. Like, I'm assuming you've got all that. What I'm going to tell you is play the way don't rush, don't drag, beyond my tempo, beyond my time, and I'll be able to pull the best out of you. I think that's what he's going for. He's assuming all these guys are pretty accomplished, at least at that fundamental to advanced level. Now I need to see which of you can rise to the greatness. And to do that, it's not for me to teach you tempo. You should know tempo. If I tell you play on my tempo as it's written on that page, you should be able to do that. So I'm not going to teach you how to do that. Because if you can't, then you can't be great and I can't deal with you. I'm here to see what I can do to push you past even advanced player status to one of the greats of all time.
Yeah, and
It's like his obsession to me, I think.
it is, and it's he doesn't even, and it's like, he has his routine, and he's on the clock and his hand gestures, and he's a drill sergeant, but he doesn't even want that adoration. Like he just wants that. You find it later, he just wants that next Charlie Parker. He just wants
Mm.
that person, to one of his students to be the greatest ever. And
Mhm.
he's just got to find the person who's already got, yeah, you're right, they've already got the talent,
Right.
because he's not instructing, he's not helping, he's not
Mhm.
giving them any suggestion or support.
Right.
To
Essentially, it's like, if I have to teach you how to be great, you'll never be great.
You'll
So you
never be
either
great.
have it and I
Mhm.
can take it out of you, or you don't and you're useless to me, type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
this one, we'll say they got there at 9 and then they left at 2 in the morning. Well, the rest of the band came in at 2 in the morning, didn't they? So
Yeah.
they being,
They
yeah.
left
So
at 4.
yeah. Hmm?
Yeah, and you see a few of the members like going to the bathroom, splashing water on their face.
Yeah.
So you could, I want to say we saw earlier that practice starts at 9 a.m. I think was on the call sheet or the sheet outside the
Yeah,
door every
something
day.
like that.
So 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. Geez,
Yeah.
that's
Whatever,
brutal.
yeah. And they just kept on going. And then of course he knew, and it's mindset. Can you do this in everything? Because in the morning it's the opposite side of the city. Make sure you get up early. I don't, the warm down or warm
Now,
up or
I
whatever it
don't
is,
buy
second
this
place.
at all. When you're on a competition team for anything, whether it's basketball or dance or whatever, you're all traveling at the same place, in the same
Yeah,
bus.
bus.
You're not leaving these kids /
Yeah, I
young
was gonna
adults
say
to
that. Yeah.
find their way. That just doesn't happen, because these things are important. And you
Mhm.
all load in, or you load in a caravan, or you make sure the parents are all lined up, because I've done plenty of these things. But even from a little kid, they're all going together.
Yeah,
And
especially a prestige
oh yeah.
college as well. It's not like you're back of the water down and out college where we don't even have a school bus. It's
Yeah, and
literally
you don't have to get
prestige.
there 2 hours early.
Mm,
For some of these things, you've got to get
mm,
there 5 and 6
mm,
hours early, and then you sit,
mm.
and then you
Yeah,
wait. So it's a
yeah,
little, but hey, they had to
mm,
make this dramatic. They
yeah.
had to make this dramatic.
Well, yeah, this is so he's on the bus, of course, playing along. Bus gets a tire. He runs down to cab office. cab's closed. So he goes and get a rental car. The quickest ever turnaround for a
Yeah,
rental car.
I thought the
Oh,
same
please.
thing. I'm like, God, I wish it was that
Wow.
easy.
Yeah, I was
I
like,
wish it
that's
was
it.
that
They,
easy.
like literally, they'll go, yeah, sign here. They'll be like, sit down. Would you like to have the extras? And they're gonna try and oversell you for ages. You're in there like, look, I paid my money. I'm here for the keys. Yeah, that's it. So
Also,
yeah, he drives.
I would make the point that at least where I live, I don't think you can even rent a rental
You have to
car
be
unless you're like
25.
25 or
You
something.
have to be
So
25 in the
another
US.
slight
Yeah.
oversight here, but you can move past it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like even like that, the they said, oh, they said it was a cab here, and then they went, oh, you can't, like you have to
You have
call
to
a
call
cab.
it in advance, which I'm like,
Yeah, and I'm like,
maybe
okay, you
in a
would do.
suburban-ish area, because suburbs, you're not going to have cabs running like you would the city. So I'm like, fair
Yeah.
enough. I could
It's
even honestly probably dismiss the whole not traveling with the team thing, somewhat being like, okay, maybe I could see a character like Fletcher not wanting to make it easy on them and wanting to put more responsibility on getting your ass
True.
there on time. So like, I can move past that. I can move past the cab thing. The renting the car can move past
Yeah.
it. But again, yeah, here in America, it's pretty well known that you have to be 25 to even rent one. So I'm like, yeah, I don't think he's going to get a car.
Like he's like the thing is like I don't like it was a bit like you can get a cab in most places, yeah, unless it's you say it's like the backwoods, but we already
suburban.
it's a city one, and okay, so on the other side, okay, you'd be I don't know, but it's probably some places in the UK are proper.
I will tell
like you can't get a cab, and you probably can get you're gonna get something if you call them up, even if it's like, oh, we'll be there in 5-10 minutes.
If you accidentally hike yourself 10 miles up the C&O Canal to Harper's Ferry and assume that because you normally do about 6 to 12 miles a weekend and you hike yourself all the way up 10 miles to Harper's Ferry because you assume that you can get a cab there back to where you started, and you can't. So I will just tell you, Harper's Ferry, Maryland does not have cabs and doesn't have Ubers. And then you'll just have to walk yourself back the 10 miles in the snow. And I'm not just eliciting sympathy here, but that was like my longest hike day ever. And it was because you don't know the disappointment of getting all the way to Maryland Heights, which is this great overlook of Harper's Ferry, and then realizing that you've got to walk 10 miles back and it might be getting dark. So anyway, so there are places in the US where you can't get a cab or an Uber. That part, it didn't bother me. The renting the car is what bothered me.
Yeah, but do you know what even bothered me more? Because he's obsessed with drumming, and what does he forget?
Oh my God, you're attached to those sticks. You're attached to those sticks.
And I think you could do this whole because obviously we'll get to what it leads up to, the car accident and all that. I think you could have just done that in this first trip there. I don't think you needed to go back for the sticks type of thing.
Oh God, I know. Yeah,
no,
I mean, I think they're trying to say
the time scale didn't really work because he said you got to be back in 10 minutes, and then
11 minutes.
we knew it was 9 minutes to go to and from that rental place because we saw it on the GPS.
Yeah,
right? So
and I'm like, really? All right, yeah, it just fixes. I'm not novel. Like, if they were that far away, like from that, like you're telling me, okay, you drove there, and you're telling me nobody in that place had a car. They all made there by public transport. BS. You could have called one of them up and said, look, I'm running towards the place. There was an accident with a bus.
Meet me halfway there.
Meet me halfway. I'm going to sprint as fast as I can until somebody picks me up. Of course they were like, okay, yeah, we'll come there, but it takes we're early, 5 minutes. He's had to go.
And then you could maybe somebody on the idea that another band member wouldn't want to do that because then they might be late and then they, catch the wrath of Fletcher. Okay, sure. I think, and I do agree. I think it's just kind of, if I have to do that much reasoning, I kind of think, it's almost like headcanon, and I don't love having to do too much of that. No. I'd like to be able to draw a conclusion of what I think they were trying to set up. I don't like to have to fill in too many blanks, which I feel like that might be doing. So I would agree. I think they probably could have just wrote this scene as, the first time going there, gets in a car accident, messes up the whole thing. That's why he's late. I don't think they needed the double back for the sticks and that whole deal.
But on this, when he gets there, like you can tell, well, he's late. He's missed the warm up. Like they're going on stage or whatever o'clock. I can't remember what it was. And then Fletcher's still like, he goes into face. I earned it. No, you haven't earned it. But you've got time to go and get your sticks if you come back. Blah. And I was like, but you just said he didn't earn it. I gave it to you, such and such, and then go get your sticks. But he realizing well, Fletcher then really wants to win the competition because that's his best drummer. He's still going to give him a chance, even though, sorry, you had the set rules. You did not abide to them. I don't care if the bus, like, puncher. This guy's warmed up. You won't get time to be warmed up. So he's the better option. It's whoever it is. It just didn't take with me, this one. Yeah, it's like that. And of course, as you say, this is all for the dramatic of
I hate
till
these
near the end.
scenes.
Yeah, and he
we've
goes
all
back.
been in those near misses or accident. Oh, I hate these scenes.
Yeah,
I really
and of
do.
course, it's a truck that hits him. He ain't getting out of that.
He is knocked out
No
at
shot.
minimum,
No shot.
or yeah.
Yeah, he's going into shock. It's like that. Well, he hurts his hand, we know, but yeah, it's.
I will say, as
up.
far as filming a inside the vehicle car crash like that, they did a great job at filming it.
Yeah.
I thought it actually looked really good.
Yeah.
It's just like, you're not just getting up, like you're concussed. You're barely able to tell what day it is. Never mind running even in the right direction to wherever the hell you're going.
Seriously.
Now, I'm going to ask you one question. This is because it's the same law that we have probably in the UK and in every state.
What you're going to ask is the first thing I think.
If you leave the scene of a traffic accident, you're going to be arrested.
Yep, I think every time
Absolutely.
I watch this scene, like
100%.
no, you would not just abandon the accident. No shot.
Yeah,
Even
so-
if you weren't necessarily at fault, which it looks like he was in this, you still can't just get up and leave.
Yeah. And it's like, but also it's a rental car. So the damages he probably has to pay for the rental car, it doesn't go into that. Yeah. I know, but the police are coming in, taking him in, statement, you're having the night in jail.
Oh, yeah.
Why? Because we're going to test you for every single drug and drink because you literally ran. So that makes you look guilty. And then, of course,
And
we
what
don't
if
know.
the other guy's
license.
injured? What if the
Yeah.
truck driver's injured? What? Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, this
I would have gone, I'll bet he had whiplash.
Touche. Well played. Well played. For me, this scene is definitely the weakest writing of the movie because it's trying to do too much to create more tension and drama when they should have just relied on what was creating such good tension and drama the whole movie, which is just the back and forth between him and Fletcher.
Yeah.
They didn't need to add all this stuff because, again, for all the reasons we just picked apart, it's not a well-written scene. I think you could have easily you could have done the bus, you could have done the cab issue, you could have done the rental car. Rental car could have just broke down. That's it. Because you could leave. You could technically leave an abandoned car, right? Yeah. Or like you could leave the car on the side of the road, come back to it, type of thing. Like you can call cops. Hey, I think at least it's legal. I could be wrong, but I believe it's legal to kind of give some sort of heads up. Had an abandoned car broke down. It's this spot. I'll work out a situation where you're back for it to deal with it, but you have some emergency to take care of. Would this qualify as an emergency that they would find acceptable? I'm not entirely sure, that you have a banned thing to make it to. But at least
you've left your car in the middle of a four-arm intersection upside down.
Right. Like, this is too much. You cannot
small
leave
little
this.
detail upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's to me like there was a better way to write this and get the same effect. Especially when it comes to drama and tension between him and Fletcher, because you've already done that throughout this whole film without this extravagant car crash scenario. Like you just didn't need it. This to me was the one that
agree.
You could use this. I think the scene is good in concept of this concert and competition leading to the breaking point of Fletcher and Andrew. I just think you could have wrote it more simple and it would have made more sense and it would have worked probably better, to be honest with you, in my opinion.
But I'm not. Now you have to go by literally. This is a bit where the writing I think lacks because you've got the character of Fletcher, what we know already, and he's a winner, and then he turns up in the state he does turn up, and he's literally you're not learning drum. You literally go you got to be a concern. You're like, okay,
I just pushed this kid too far. Well, and keep in mind,
but also he's not introduced. He's not even introduced like what the song is yet. He's turned around. He's gone. No, I'm sitting there. He's looked and he's gone. What the hell? And I'm not at that point. Anybody simply like, look at your hand, but you also have blood seeping from your head. Yeah,
like it's all over your clothes. And especially with Fletcher's character in this point too. One, he's going to have some concern for Andrew the person, which how much of that we don't know because clearly Fletcher's got some sociopathic tendencies, maybe on the mild side, that he's not doing anything super criminal. But he's definitely like cut off from relationships. Like he doesn't necessarily care about relationships with people. He's going to do whatever he has to get the best out of you. So maybe not concerned, like a ton of concern for the health side of it, but you also have to keep in mind something we skipped over a little bit in the couple of scenes back was he gave the speech about the former student that he had who had passed away, who he says died in a car accident,
Died in a
who
car.
he knows damn well died from, oh God, I almost just said it.
Self-deletion.
Yes, I almost just said the wrong word and didn't mean to on YouTube.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sandy. Fletcher knows damn well what he actually passed away from. So that concern, at the very least, of like, shit, I can't have this happen to another student, has to be in his mind, to the point where it's like, dude, go get some medical attention. That on top of the fact of like, you are in no condition to be the best drummer for this band right now, which is his utmost priority, probably even more so than trying to see if this is the next Charlie Parker or not. So again, I think this is the weakest writing in the movie. Is it, god awful, terrible? No, but if you're watching it analytically, you're gonna pick it apart.
Yeah. And so, but like the one thing is like when he, also when this bit, like he's struggling with his left hand and he drops the drumstick. If you're a drummer, and I've been around quite a lot, they have spares literally there
right
because they go
hole.
crack, break, oh god, like that. It's like if you were like a musician, like a proper like guitarist or anything like that, and you only bought one guitar and only one set of strings or one drum, you're gonna have like literally they have pockets next to it just in case that stuff happens. And I think was it Matt saw him at Guns N' Roses. I saw him. He like
you see it at any rock concert,
and he broke and he broke it and literally went straight in and picked one straight out, literally out of like, where's that one come from? Because he had a bag just in case that happened. Broke it straight back out with another one. You didn't even notice, like with the music like that, but you could just see it. It just flew up in the air like that. And okay, but it happens. Like him to just lose one, and then plausible that he didn't get it ready, set up in time. But then you're telling me the two other people that knew they would get or hand him one. Here's ours.
Right.
Literally, because one, if I don't do that, I might get the back, like Fletcher might have a go at me for not doing the right thing.
Right.
So like you're not being
openly sabotaging the band for your own personal gain. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
To make Andrew.
But also, they could have done from Andrew is when he got that bad, you could have just gone like Ryan or whoever, take him out. Literally, I'm taking over. Like, literally, just go straight in. I'm left hand. Yeah, grab him. And then you get him out, and then they just take over. They could have done that. So again, this bit, this whole scene, is probably the unplausible because there's so many. Your head kind of goes, no, you would do this, you would do that. You're and it's like the band
repeatedly in this scene. Like every time this scene progresses up to the tackle. It's like every part of it is kind of like, no, this doesn't make sense. It probably wouldn't go that way. It's definitely the weakest writing. And to me, it's such a shame because, again, is it awful, ruining? No. But if you're looking at it really closely, you're going to pick it apart. And it's just unnecessary. It's just a little extravagant to get to a point where you could have gotten so much more simply in a way that not only would have worked just as well, but probably would have worked better because you wouldn't be picking it apart.
Yeah. And of course, he runs for his drum kit. After like you have to apologize and rugby I'm gonna go for he rugby tackles him to the floor, like that. And
I'll go with the Ray Lewis tackle for Sandy's sake.
There you go.
I'm not an oddball. Get some elbows in, like I'm gonna kill you. He just like he then just kind of cuddles him.
They needed a punch or two in there. Needed a punch or two in there. I thought
give him an elbow so when you seem like
true.
But if you gave him an elbow, literally, he could have,
just a little something. And you needed some kind of strike, not just the wrestling with the suit jacket on the ground,
Then, of course, he gets, taken away by things. And then I get this scene, this next bit, with they're trying to explain what you just said, Jay, with, I can't remember the kid's name.
Kenny,
Sean,
something like that.
Something, yeah. Casey.
And
Sean
Casey, that's what it is. Yep, Sean Casey. Yep.
So, what is this achieving for Andrew to get one over on Fletcher because he did what he did? But at this point, they've both done it to themselves. I'm saying it's not got, as she tried to explain, it's not got to the point it's teacher, I suppose, abuse. Let's call it like that. It's not like that. He's pushing you to be better than you are, and you've got to the point where you've had an accident, so you've told your dad this what happened, I screwed up, at that point most people would go to the teacher, go to the board, this happened, this is the circumstances that led up to that instance, you know, the car crash, blah, blah, blah. I thought that my head wasn't right. They would probably let you off with like really disciplined thing, but you're not going to be dismissed, or, you know, from the school. So this scene is where they try and act that self-deletion because of an abuse, by what the mum thought is happening, that her son mindset changed whilst he was at that school, and then it went on. But you've already known from a CD that he played, we skipped over, is this guy was like one of the first. So he went on from being a third to a second to a first at this top whatever band, and then of course later on, unfortunately he self-deletes himself. But this lawyer here, I'm guessing it's a lawyer, is trying to explain that the mum knew something. The mum felt it, so they're not going to sue him. Because they don't have the money, but they just want to get rid of him because they have this thing. So they don't have the knowledge of it. They don't have. It's just like, oh, we're fishing that somebody needs to collaborate what we believe happened to our son, and then they get Andrew. And I think, was it Andrew's dad that led up to that because he saw the change, and then because he pushes really to make Andrew change his opinion of, I'm not going to go against Fletcher, and then he just flips and I go, yeah, we'll do.
See, I like it because I take it as this is really the father getting involved. The father now sees that you just went through a car accident, rushed there, and still tried to play for this guy. Like, what hold does this guy have on you?
Yeah.
How do I help you break it? And I actually really like the undertone of two very concerned parents, with the mother of Sean Casey, the Sean Casey character, as well as this guy who they're not in it for money. This isn't about suing the school to get money. This is, I'm a concerned parent. I see what this guy did to my kid. I'm hearing that he did it to another kid and it ended up in the worst possible circumstance. Both of us just want to make sure this doesn't happen to other kids, other students, other families. Because that is something that I think, the loss I hopefully is something that I obviously never have to endure. Hopefully nobody ever has to endure. But unfortunately, people do endure the loss of children in life. And from everything, you hear, it's one of the most brutal pains a person can ever feel. So I love that idea of the parents being so just focused on, one, in this father's case, his son kind of getting back on track, but two, hoping that it just doesn't happen to another student. Like, this guy is no good. I don't care what music prodigy he might think he can create. Even when he created one, look how it ended for that guy. So I actually really like the idea of the parents getting involved here. Beyond just, can I get an apology from the school, or can I get him to stay in school? Like, it's bigger than that. Once the self-deletion comes into play, I think it just becomes so much bigger than school, scholarship, career, Lincoln Center, whatever the hell it is for these kids. It then becomes parents stepping in to say, no, like, I know who you were before you met this guy, and I see who you are now. It's no coincidence that it's this guy, and it's no coincidence that it happened to somebody before, and it left in such graver or such more awful circumstances with what happens to Sean Casey.
Yeah. But let's go. But I don't get what it would achieve, because just because it's the real world, if you're a top composer, let's call him a composer, I don't know what it is in jazz, got sacked from the most prestige school in the world, they call it the world, don't they? You're telling me that number 1, number 2, or number 3 school ain't going to employ him straight away because he's winning everything, because they know, okay, he's got a bit of a reputation, but he can make our school better. All the students will want to come because of his reputation of the winner, not what he's done. It's all about he makes people great and a winner. So I'm just thinking, what are they achieving?
I mean, if he were still alive, would anyone employ Joe Paterno right now? So Joe Paterno turned a blind eye for many years to some horrible behavior on the part of one of his coaches. And he was beloved. I could never stand Penn State, sorry, but would anyone employ him now? I don't think so. No.
Yeah. I think oh, sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, I think this, ranks right up there, if not worse than that kind of abuse. So I don't know what it's like in the rest of the world, but here, if it, again, and there's always, is it proven? Is it not proven? If it's proven here, no, you're not going to get a job with
Mhm.
children. And these are still, when you're in college, you're still like on your parents' health insurance, even though you're an adult technically, and all those things. I think in the rest of the world, in the quote adult world, you're right. He probably could get another job, but working anywhere around dependents and children, no, they're
Right.
not going
Especially
to.
with like, we do what's called, I don't know if this is a worldwide thing, but Corey checks, I think is
Yep.
something that's, no,
Yeah, we do.
excuse
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Do you do them as
So
well?
similar,
Okay, I
yeah.
didn't know if
Yeah,
that
we
was a
similar, yeah,
worldwide
yeah.
term or not,
Yeah.
but
I don't,
those things.
not the term. I know what you mean. No,
Right.
yeah,
It's just
we
a
have to do-
background check to make
yeah,
sure
yeah.
you're suitable to be working with children or young adults, teenagers, whatever it may be. So that kind of stuff would come up. Now, is it to say for sure that, some small school somewhere wouldn't jump at the chance and say, oh, maybe we can get this guy as a big name? Maybe, maybe not. I would lean more towards Sandy's perspective of, if, proven enough to be true, and as bad as this was with a kid ending in self-deletion, it would probably blackball him from most schools. And I think one of the other reasons to go this route is if you were to just complain to the school itself and the board.
But that's what it is, isn't it? This isn't it.
Well, with prestigious, the reason they go this route instead of that route is with some of these prestigious schools, and this is probably the case even in the UK and around the world, a lot will get swept under the rug. Like Stacy, Jesus, I did it again. Like Sandy just pointed out with the Joe Paterno thing, with whatever happened, with everything that happened there, and with that other coach who did the awful, horrible things, you can't tell me no part of the school upper board or whatever didn't know anything about it. A lot will get swept under the rug for these prestigious schools and these prestigious.
But where did that
names
go?
they
Did
have
that
teams.
actually go to court? Because this goes to the governors.
Yeah,
They're
he's
like-
in jail.
Yes, he's in jail. He's in
Yeah,
jail.
There you go.
The
So
coach
that
is
was
in
a
jail, and
criminal.
the other one
Yeah, so
passed away.
But
Yeah, he
but
goes,
that's
that was
also kind of
criminal.
that's an even more extreme case, because
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with that story.
No,
and
I
I don't
don't
want to
know
talk
at
about it
all.
on YouTube.
No.
We can chat about it a little
Yeah.
afterwards, so you have a better perspective. But it was very, very, very bad. Like no.
With young kids too,
Yeah,
not just
like to
college
kind
and
of
high
put
Yeah,
two
school.
and two together
yeah.
there.
We are thinking,
This
but
is
yeah.
a different case of where like it probably wouldn't escalate to court because you need provable things, but it's
Exactly.
enough in
So
the world of
if you got rid of him,
we don't
like,
want
okay, look, there's been an allegation. Your time's up. We kind of want you moving on because it's going to. We don't want your name associated with our school. Can you move on? It's going to be that, isn't it? They're not going to sack him.
Right, but
Are
the
they-
media is going to be worse than any
court
court
of public
case, right?
opinion.
He's not going to be able to find a job anywhere
Well,
because you're
yeah.
right. Yeah, because the media can make any conclusions they want and kind of talk about
See,
quote
yeah.
allegedly and air quotes, and then people know. So I do.
No,
I think people would
because
be,
I disagree how that is acted in this movie because of the next bit is because okay, let's quickly jump to it because you get Andrew gets dismissed, and he goes into this kind of like little bit of a depression, don't know what to do mode. He's working at a coffee place or like sandwich bar, isn't he, for a little bit, but then he finds out JVC jazz festivals on, and he let's take a thing. Just before that, he asks Nicole, do you want to go? Like not really like that.
well, let me check with my boyfriend. We might check it out.
Yeah, exactly. But when he's he's walking down that, he notices who's playing, special guests. That's where I don't think he's blackballed, because that I'm guessing this jazz festival is loads of different bars, and there might be an open, forum somewhere. People can turn up, but he's not turned
but
up.
as a
He's
teacher,
been
what
booked.
I think, but I think what we're saying is like anything related to children or teaching or anything like that. But we also, I guess in this country, probably in other countries, we, one of our constitutional rights, and many of our, founding documents, we don't take away people's right to earn money without due process. It's that right to,
Yeah, but if that was a lie, that's what I'm saying. People go, oh, we've heard some things, I don't want to work with you. And people do it because that's just human nature. They'll be like, you could be the greatest. You'd be like, look, I've heard some things about this person. I don't think we should employ him, but he's great for the job. Yeah, but when we don't know if it's true or not. And then that will put a lot of people off, and it will put off like I know we like music here. A lot of band members will be like, I don't want him in there. Apparently he's a bit of a creep. But like him just to get that, because he's a good piano player. No, it didn't. It just felt a bit.
I think the other thing we might be overlooking a little bit too is the Fletcher character himself. He's now been the top teacher at, what do they call it? Schaefer, I think is the
Schaefer
school.
Academy.
Top teacher at Schaefer, which is allegedly, most prestigious in the country, in the world, probably all that stuff. Is he going to be open to relegating himself to a lesser school to teach, or would he rather, like he says a little later on, I'm going to be conducting a professional band in this JVC, whatever the hell it is. So I think part of it too is probably, once he loses this job, think of us, as adults being in our careers, and you lose your job, and then somebody offers you a quarter of the pay to work a wicked, crappy job that you really don't want to work. Like, how many of us are going to have the pride to go suck it up and do that, or say, no, I'm better than that. I'll wait till something better comes my way. So I do think that's probably a part of it too, is the Fletcher character himself, his ego, his lists of accomplishments, at least as far as he sees them, but as well as the music world, because again, he's top teacher at school. Is he even willing to go work at a, say, community college level of a music band type of thing? I mean, that's the other thing, is who knows who would even be willing to take him, and the more desperate a school to take him, given this, I guess really just accusations against him, because it's, like you said, it's not court case, but with this history on him, the schools most likely the most desperate to take him wouldn't be schools that would have all that great of programs. So is he even going to lower himself in his mind to going to take that job? Versus, I can just, take a pro band, play with pros who I don't have to worry as much about. Yeah. Will I find the next Charlie Parker? Probably not, because these guys are all pros who are set in their ways and whatever. But I could still have a good career, good name for myself doing these pro bands and these competitions or festivals, whatever it may be. Versus, why am I going to go bother playing with people who barely know how to play the instrument in his mind, even though they may be talented in their own right?
But he goes down to the basement, I suppose, like that. Now, I say, like, I do like my dad, one of his friends had a jazz bar in London.
Oh, no kidding.
Nice.
But he was like, like, had to get rid of it because he was like, he goes, once the smoking ban came in.
Oh yeah, I instantly think of having a cigarette or a cigar. Yep.
He goes, once
especially in New York, like your Soho cigar bars. It's that's the vibe.
But I was too, like, and he showed me a picture, and he was like, like dark oak, Green Lanterns,
there's paneling.
It's a vibe.
What you think? I was like,
it's a good time.
Brilliant.
Big leather chairs.
I was like, this guy's house. Let's say he had some money like that in North Barnet. Oh, it's so brilliant. But no,
I know North Barnet. It's on the northern line. Yes, I do.
So he lived there, but like he's he loved his blues more than jazz. So like, but he was like that. But he said, once smoking, nobody wanted to come in because you would have people just order one whiskey and just smoke their cigars all night, and then just have like that, the whiskey would go warm, and that would be it. And they didn't care. It was all about enjoying the smoke, the music, and that's it. It killed.
Now, did they ban that entirely in the UK? Do you guys not have cigar bars at all?
Nope, can't.
We have the ban on indoor smoking on most restaurants, but we do still have your cigar bars specifically for that.
I think they tried it, and then the people, health and safety people said, no, you can't do it. So because you have to have everybody sign off. So you can't do it. The rule is in the UK, you have to have, even like if you had, like somewhere you can go outside, you have to have literally 3 of the openings open. So even if you had like a top thing, that's classed as 1. So people, so it
became not worth it then.
Not worth it. Yeah. But so he listens to Fletcher play a very subdued, I suppose you want to like that, a little soft jazz song. And then they, of course, as he's walking out, like now this, when he like, oh, the song's finishing, but just before they sit down and have their little talk, doesn't he get from the stage
super fast?
I was like, Jesus, the Flash. He's the Flash.
I mean, it's really, that's a demon quality there. That fast travels.
I was like, what's going on there? I was like that, and it was. And if that happened in real life, you would freak out. you'd be like, you were just over there.
And to
You
me,
were just over there.
the way they could have fixed it too would have been just one slight catch of the eyes between him at the piano and him at the door. Because then I could believe that you saw him, you got up, you ran across that room as fast as you could before he left. But he seemingly didn't see him at all. So it's like, it's even harder to believe.
All you had to do was put somebody in front of him, blocking the entrance,
just a little bit of
for ID,
just
somebody or a drunk person, just like that, or like a man at all,
to make him have to be like, oh, excuse me, to give that little hesitation and being able to leave.
And it was just like, ta-da, I am here, Andrew.
And he seemingly had no idea Andrew was even in the room because there was no eye contact. So like those two little slight things: one, put a little obstacle in Andrew's way. Two, give a slight catching of the eyes between the two of them while he's playing the song.
Yeah, but it's all about this kind of talk, and you get later the reason, but it's like, they're both kind of saying, I'm great, you're great, I'm great, no, I'm great, kind of a conversation of like explaining, well, I've lost my job, but this is the reasons why I did it, because I can get people to be great, but I've never achieved it. And then he's kind of fishing for, of course, Andrew to, when he gets like outside, that's one of the guys, got a JVC tournament, part of this. We got a semi-professional band going up, but the drummer's not any good.
Something,
not cutting it or whatever. And he's like, and it's great again. It's Fletcher again, and Andrew doesn't realize he did this in the first 10 minutes of the movie. He's doing exactly the same, like playing.
And I gotta say, as an audience member, the first time watching it got me again too. So you can understand how it could have gotten Andrew. Like, I didn't see what comes next coming. So I can understand how Andrew didn't either. Like, maybe he thinks this is, because the way essentially during that conversation, Fletcher says that he thinks the person who kind of told on him or complained about him, however you want to look at it, was maybe another student from the Sean Casey year. Turns out, obviously, we know that it was Andrew, but we don't know if Fletcher knows that. We assume he thinks it's this other student from that Sean Casey year. And again, I like this because it humanizes, as Natty put in the chat a little while ago, that we were humanizing Fletcher too much. It's kind of what the movie tries to do back and forth, just to subvert the expectations of what comes next. It humanizes him again because he raises another good point. He talks about the guy who threw the cymbal at Charlie Parker again. And he says, what would have happened had that guy not done that? What if the guy just said, good job, as he puts it, the two worst words or damaging words in the English language, good job. He kind of lays it out that after that happened, Charlie Parker was pissed. He went home, he cried. But what happened? He came back the next day to work harder and to eventually become Charlie Parker. What happens if that pushing, that challenging doesn't come? Does he ever become that? Who knows? So it's a legitimate concept, and it does make you wonder, like, well, shit, he's kind of got a point there. Like, was it a horrible thing to do, whipping a cymbal at somebody's head? Of course. Did it play a big role in that person becoming who he was? Maybe. It's hard to argue it didn't. We can't know for sure he would have been Charlie Parker if it didn't happen, but we do know he became Charlie Parker, and it did happen. So that concept alone is really interesting.
Well,
and I think, it's just another part where you humanize Fletcher's intentions at the very least. Even if you still don't like him, the character, because he goes overboard, it at least, again, makes you realize, okay, this is where he's coming from. I see where he's coming from. I hate the way he goes about what he's doing, but I do get it. It's not truly that he's just some mean-spirited jackass. There's something he's trying to do. Is it self-serving a little bit? Yeah, I'm sure he would love to be the guy who creates the next Charlie Parker. It's probably more about that than as he puts it, we would have robbed the world of a great mind or a great musician like Charlie if that didn't happen. And that's how he kind of tries to spell it to Andrew here. Do I think he's truly worried about the world being deprived the next Charlie Parker? No, I think he's more interested in him being the person who helps create or find that Charlie Parker. I feel like I'm saying Charlie Parker too much.
But you say it so well, Charlie Parker.
So it's another great little bit of dialogue between these two. And I think they have great chemistry acting throughout this.
Great acting in this scene. Both of them.
Just again, another little bit. And then he gets that little olive branch. Like, hey, my drummer's not that good. What do you think about, I know things didn't end well for us. What do you think about you joining it? he just seems like a friend again. And like you said, it's the same thing he did at the beginning of the movie, but so much has happened, and he's such a master manipulator that you don't know if you're going to get a right hook, a left hook, a jab, or a hug. It's just this insane character.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I do like this scene because they're just playing each other. Like especially when you know later, like the scene makes more
Right.
sense as like that. But yeah, so Andrew does take the gig, I suppose you want to call it, and goes to the JVC, whatever you want to call it, competition where he's got this thing.
Cocky than ever. I mean, it's gone to
he's
his
got a
head
bag,
again.
like smug.
Down and up. He's back up again. Yep.
I mean, his confidence lives and dies within the mind of Fletcher, and that's what Fletcher wants.
Yeah. So I didn't know that J.K. Simmons. Have you seen Buffy? You guys?
I have not.
I have.
Sandy. Yeah. You know
Buffy.
Angel.
I know Angel.
I'm familiar.
I never watched Angel. I mean, I know the character.
Well, there's a character in Angel, and I didn't realize he was in it.
Oh,
that looks like a really old Dobby from Harry Potter.
Does look like a Dobby.
My God, like just come off meth or something. This is what happens when you have meth, Dobby. There we go. Oh, sorry, I had to be done.
There's a striking resemblance there.
There is, isn't there?
He's a man with a lot of wrinkles. Yes.
For the record, J.K. Simmons in this role, incredibly well shaped. Like, he's in phenomenal shape. I don't know what made him get into this kind of shape for this role. He is jacked in this role for some reason.
So it's about how old is he now? 10.
He
is
like
10 years off.
Okay, so 1955 to now is what, 70? So he's 70. So take off 8 years. So he was 60. Yeah, he was 62.
Pretty good shape. 60. Got to hand it to him.
But you know what? It's the
warning of life. The warning of life. This is your house.
Well, being a conductor, you have to be in good shape. You actually do have to be in good shape.
Need stamina,
conductor, because you're going to be standing a long time. The musicians get to sit. The conductor has to stand. So,
So he goes. Of course, they will get to this competition, and I think it's got quite a long ending, isn't it? Like, so you get there, and I can't remember what the song's called. They're going to think. So he's
not Whiplash, and it's not Caravan. It's something
like Uptown Swing or Upswing something or other. I can't.
And of course, everybody's changes their paper, and of course, he hasn't got the sheets, and he doesn't know. I'm guessing he's heard the song, but doesn't doesn't know it.
And he was also promised that he's like Fletcher told him in that offer outside the bar that it was going to be I'm going to use the studio set list. So he was promised, he was promised it was going to be Caravan and Whiplash and everything that he knows, forwards, backwards, inside and out.
Yeah. So of course he gets on or confused as anything. Plays his little bit, and the people, the double bass guys, what are you doing? Get with it. And he's just like, and this is a bit like, if you don't know it, but you know the tempo, you would just play a simple beat.
Just play something.
You play like a
they went for a little extra dramatic effect of him being like totally lost.
Yeah, like I'm out of beat. I'm not doing it. Like, but you're the drummer. Just keep the beat. Even if you don't know it, just keep the beat.
I would also say that I think a little bit of his real, inability to even keep a beat with this is that because right before that, Fletcher comes up to him and he basically admits that like this was a master plan. He's like, I think I'm stupid.
You.
I know it was you.
Yeah.
And that must just rock you to your core where you probably wouldn't even be able to keep a beat because you look, not only did he just catch you in the whole thing, now you realize just as fast as you realize he caught you and got one up on you, it's even worse because he told you you're playing a song you're not actually playing. So you could sell me on him being so disoriented by that his mind is once again miles away and couldn't even keep a beat.
But yeah, so everybody's afterwards like, okay, what was that? Like, because I say, if you're the drummer and you screw up, that's noticeable because you
can hide behind another trumpet. There's only one drum out there.
Yeah, and you're the beat. If you mess up, it's like, what is that noise? Why is that? Like, everybody else is they're playing that. What is that noise? Oh, it's the drummer. He's out of tune.
Oh, and in the meeting with the band prior, before they go out, Fletcher lets them know, like, hey, this isn't just some festival. Like, you could get a nice meal ticket punched for you here. You could Lincoln Center. He names off all these other groups. He's like, this isn't just a concert. Like this, for you pros who didn't get this, Lincoln Center spot straight out of Schaefer, you might still be able to get it here.
And and he also then
creates more.
And if you mess up, they will
never forget. And they'll never forget.
They don't forget.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So in this moment, I can see his whole world just crashing around him, and like I wouldn't even be able to know how to speak my name. Never mind, keep a beat.
Yeah, and then of course he goes out to his dad. I don't know how his dad got backstage again so quick. Again, he's got flash abilities. But yeah, he gives
Small
him
sets. They get there quickly.
Okay. Okay, so a moment. His dad thinks
again, dad just in tune. He knows he can, without even being told. He knows what just went down. He can see it in his son's face. I'm going to be there to support my son. Yeah,
that's it. And he believes, okay, that's it. I'm just going to be here with you. And again, it's again what Fletcher's told him.
Yep.
Turn around. They're the winners. The one it gets done and it gets really bad, you just turn around and you go back at it. And of course, he goes back to the drums, and they just go for it. And it's good things, and he does. He starts them off, doesn't he? And he goes into does carousel. What's name's like, what the hell are you doing? Then gets really excited, and then it kind of turns into the rest of it a 5-minute drum solo.
Andrew says when he says, "What the hell are you doing?" Andrew says, "I'll count you in." Or I'll cue you in. He's like, "I got this. I got this."
Yeah. And at one point, he's still combative with Andrew. He comes over and he's like, "I'll gouge your effing eyes out." Like he still is like. He knows now Andrew's getting the one up on him. And he's like, okay, I was willing to sabotage the band for one song to get my payback. If you screw me right now in front of all these people, I'm going to kill you. Plain and simple. Like he is not messing around until he then realizes when Andrew does say like, hey, I'll count you in. He's just kind of like, okay, like, all right, let's see where this goes type of thing.
Yeah. And he steps up and then, he goes for it. And then, even to I count you in as well to the bass, everybody takes over, and then there's a solo, then it goes back in, and they keep on going, and it very abruptly ends. Let's say that after like a 5-minute, it just and
ends with the song.
Yeah, that's it. So it's a very abrupt ending because they're making he's now he's finished with, I suppose, Fletcher. And that's it. So it's very,
and I like it because it leaves it a bit open ended. Like because he obviously puts on an impressive performance because he's impressing Fletcher, which is nearly impossible to do. And Fletcher's not just like going with it to say, all right, let's get through the song. He's genuinely impressed, and he feels like, okay, this is the moment. I might have finally woken this kid up and gotten it out of him. Or at least that's what his body language, his facial expressions, and everything is kind of telling us. So I like that it's a bit open-ended because in my mind, I like to think that they both, although they went on this torturous journey with one another, more so from one to the other, they both ended up in the spot they wanted to be in where maybe this kid is a Charlie Parker and maybe, Fletcher can finally say he got the student that he's always wanted. So I actually really like that the ending is abrupt. I love that it ends with the song itself. And 2, I love that it's just that open-ended. Well, what exactly happens next? Do they go their separate ways? Does he get the Lincoln Center spot? Do they maybe work together in a pro band? As whatever this band is of pros that Fletcher's been using, is he now going to just work with that? Like, does Fletcher look at him as an equal now that I can push more subtly as opposed to have to drag greatness out of him?
So you like the movie?
Yeah, fair to say I really like this one night.
Go on then, carry on. We'll let you do it. As you're back, as you're straight back, it's your pick. You're back.
Like we said at the beginning, this is my pick. I'm super biased on this one. My score is going to be probably a little bit higher than you guys because I just adore it. I love it. I love the story. I think it's super tight. I do think there's, parts like we mentioned that could have been written better in terms of how they went about, the whole crash scene and that competition that leads to the ultimate fallout between the two. Stuff like that could have been a little bit better, but in terms of the writing, I think it's very tight. I don't think there's many spots, scenes, or storylines that needed to be removed or even needed to be added. I think you have everything you need to get this story and relationship from where it begins to where it ends. I think the cinematography is super underrated in this film. It is a wonderful looking film. From color palette to saturation to camera work, camera shots. I think every shot in this movie is like perfectly done. I really just visually impressive across the board. Acting absolutely superb. You put up the picture of the poster earlier, and it's such an interesting poster because it's just basically full of praise for the movie, which sometimes can be a little obnoxious. Like, how many Marvel movies do we have to see get told that it's the #1 movie in the world and critics love it, blah, blah, blah. But this one, I just love how it looks, and I love reading the praise on it because I find it to be very true in this case. I don't think it's embellishment. I don't think it's overhyped. I think it makes, for one, a really cool, interesting look because you don't see a lot of posters that go this way. And I think it's earned the right to put all this praise on itself because I just love this movie. I think it's phenomenal. I give it a very solid 8. I love it. I watch it every time it's on. I think I watched it twice last year, actually, just for the sake of it. This will be the first time in 2025 that I've watched it, and it won't be the last. I adore this movie. J.K. Simmons, phenomenal actor. He is high up on my ranks of greatest actors. I just think he's so damn good. And Miles Teller, I think, does a great role. Your smaller roles, from your Ryan Connollys to your Nicoles to your the father, I can't remember his name at the moment. They're all great. The dinner table scene, the guy plays the former jock dad and the mother, that whole, his cousins and that, they all play their roles really well, even though it's super small, but it's believable. Everybody knows that kind of family, and nothing against them either. Like, they're a happy family who's happy with their kids' accomplishments, same as any other, but the way they put it against the Andrew character and all that, I just think everybody's so good in this. I really can't think of a bad actor in it. Even in a small, like the core drummer that he replaces, the original one that he replaces, I think is really good in his just kind of aggravation with some newcomer who he knows isn't nearly as talented as him coming up and taking his spot. Again, I could gush about this for hours. I feel like I already have, so I'll leave it at that. It's an 8. It's a high recommend. I love it. If you haven't seen it, check it out.
Sandy, follow that up.
It's hard to. Now, I am going to put up my numbers slide here. We already talked about everything on my notes slide, except we didn't mention the writer and director, whose name is Damien, and I hope I'm saying the last name correctly. Chazelle, CH.
Yeah, I had trouble when I looked it up.
I'm going to say Damien Chazelle. Relatively young writer too, and as both Daryl and you pointed out, this being a short film that was submitted in 2013 to the Sundance Film Festival. It was made on this is the definition of a shoestring budget these days, 3.3 million, which it's so recent, it would only be 4.5 million today. That's nothing. It did make money, but it was a limited release. It did not even make the top 50 for 2014.
Crazy.
Unfortunately, I look at 2014 and I'm like, it's good and bad. It's good and bad. You've got the #1 movie of 2014, Guardians of the Galaxy, great film. You've got then #2, The Hunger Games, that we all have learned, and we all really appreciated Battle Royale.
Yes.
So Hunger Games, just knock that off the list.
It was only 2014.
But she didn't copy it, keep it in mind. Allegedly, she didn't copy it.
Came to her. Yeah, it was 2014. The #3 film was Captain America: Winter Soldier. I think some of us might agree that's a decent,
Yeah, I actually like the Winter Soldier. Good.
Yeah. And then #4, I love this film. I do, because everything is awesome. The Lego Movie, #4. And then #5.
It was a big
and then
blockbuster year, huh?
Yeah, but then the rest of the top 10 really hurts my head. You got Transformers: Age of Extinction.
Oh God,
how dreadful. Maleficent. It's one of those years with all the. Yeah, you're right. Blockbuster.
What won the Oscar that year? Because this was nominated, I know, for Best Picture.
It was for a lot. 2014.
It
What won
was
it?
That's a look.
um
So it'd been 2015. Was it released 20? So it'd be
Oh
2014.
yeah. So oh god, I
so it
get
would
so
have been the
It would have
confused.
been.
Oscars for 2015. But I'll just chat about what it won while
Yeah,
someone
yeah.
looks up what did win.
Yeah,
So
let me
it
look that up.
did win identical Oscar and BAFTA nominations and wins. Obviously, Best Actor for J.K. Simmons, tremendous. Best,
Supporting actor, wasn't it? Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
Best Actor. Was it
Was it? I thought it
supporting
was best support. I think it's supporting
actor?
actor.
Look it
Yeah.
up. Okay,
Mm.
I may have been wrong on that.
Oh,
And then,
you guys aren't going to be surprised when you hear what won.
oh, don't tell me.
Birdman, because
Oh,
Hollywood
okay.
loves movies about Hollywood.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
I didn't even finish Birdman, and maybe I'm
I
biased
didn't
and just
see
didn't
it.
like it. I started it, I didn't finish it. This movie is
Yeah.
way better than Birdman, if you ask me. But I'm also
Yeah.
biased, so I'll leave it at that.
No,
But that is,
yeah.
That's unfortunate.
so
It's
actually, it wasn't a bad year for
I could
nominees.
see what Birdman was doing. It's just it's
Yeah,
boring.
didn't do it for me.
No,
But that year, the
no.
nominees were American Sniper, Birdman,
Okay.
Boyhood, Selma.
Boyhood.
Yeah,
Okay.
Boyhood was the David Linklater one, I think, if I got his name
I
right.
can't
The one that was
remember.
filmed over like a 15-year period.
Oh yes. Yeah. I know
The
what you're-
12-year
yes, yeah.
period. I see
Yeah,
that. on the
yeah. I
poster.
know.
A
Yeah,
moving
I remember
12-year
it.
epic, it says.
Yeah.
I want to say that was Linklater, but I could be
Mm.
wrong. Selma, The Grand Budapest Hotel, which we actually all
Oh,
just agreed on
that's a good
adding.
one.
That needs to go on the list. Yeah.
The Imitation Game, which I really liked.
Oh,
I
that was
think
really
that was
good.
better than
Yeah.
Birdman. The Theory of Everything, which I haven't watched, but I have wanted
I've
to.
not.
You're not
I
a fan,
Yeah.
Stasis? I've wanted to watch that one.
It's one of those ones where you enjoy it, but it's
Probably not going back to it.
interesting. You don't need to go back to it. I don't
Fair
think.
enough.
Is that
It's
the
like
what's Eddie Redmayne? No, who's
Yes,
in it?
yes. Yep,
Yeah,
Eddie
yeah,
Redmayne.
yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good. It's a good movie, but like if you have Imitation Game in there, I would watch that.
Oh
That is
yeah,
a good movie.
I actually have to go
Yeah.
back. Is
That's
that on
very
our
good.
list? I really like the
No, it
Imitation
might have to
Game.
go to Alan Turing. Yeah, he used to
and
live near
then
me.
then Whiplash.
Like,
Oh,
there was
no
a blue
kidding.
plaque. We have the blue plaques, on the wall.
Yeah.
Like that, where I originally, he lived literally around the corner from
Oh,
me.
No
cool.
kidding.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
I see like 3 or 4
And another
movies on this I liked more than
and another
Birdman.
musician that lived around the corner. Yeah, doesn't have the blue plaque. Brian May.
Wait, Brian May. I was gonna say it. 'Cause you told me I was gonna say Brian May. Took me a minute.
Now everybody's
And
gonna
then-
go, where did he used to live?
After
near
this film,
near a palace.
be
Near a
careful.
palace.
People can triangulate on you.
Yes, they can. I don't live there anymore.
Oh, that's
no.
right. That you're not there anymore. But so after this film, there was so much artistic acclaim, even though there wasn't, huge popular acclaim for the film, that there were a lot of rumors of a Whiplash 2. And there were a lot of rumors about, is it going to be a sequel or a prequel? And finally, the writer had to say no. No to all. And I love that. Like there doesn't need, and again, as I've mentioned with the abrupt Sopranos ending, I'll always go to my David Chase here. It doesn't, Tony Soprano neither lived nor died. The story ended. You got to kind of get that in your head. So, I would say this is probably a film that if it weren't for Film Club, I might not seek out to watch this film again, because I found it the first time I saw it to be a hard watch. And it reminded me of, I think, and I'm not sure what year it was. I think Slumdog Millionaire was like 2011.
I think that was like 08, 07.
Okay,
Because I just remember being in high school when that one came out.
Yeah, so it was way back in. And I remember I liked
Younger.
Slumdog.
Sorry, I did it
liked
again.
Slumdog so much, but it was a film I firmly resolved when I left
would
that
agree
theater
with
I
that.
would never watch it again, because it's a hard watch, even though that one has a happy ending. But this one, I thought to myself, it was good, but it was a hard watch. I'm so glad I watched it again, because I appreciate it for a lot of other things than when I first saw it. I think the reason I thought it was such a hard watch is because neither character is a good character. I came out not liking either main character, and I don't like Miles, and I don't like Fletcher. But now I think I'm at a place in, kind of trying to appreciate art and film a little more, that I'm okay with that as well. I'm okay with a film where you don't root for a character, because halfway through this film, I'm no longer cheering for Miles. And then it's like, well,
Mhm.
I hate to say it, but like, where's your allegiance as a viewer? But it's okay because we're just here to watch, and we're just here to watch and appreciate a work of art. And this is definitely a work of art in everything that, that you had mentioned, Jay, in the aesthetic of the film, is so well done. And this, it did win the Oscar for editing, and it won the Oscar for
Yeah.
sound.
That was something I
Absolutely
forgot to
should have.
mention. The editing. Sorry, I just wanted to
Yeah.
give credit to that. The editing was something I forgot to mention. The way it pairs with the cinematography, the look, the color palette
Yes.
choice, brilliant. Sorry to continue. I
No, 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 no.
wanted
And
to add that in.
I could continue to talk about that because as I mentioned, like, I think the two places where they filmed is some ballroom and some other
Mhm.
hotel where they're obviously, it's in the 2010s, but there are elements like light fixtures and doors and stairways that are harkening back to the 1930s, which is the era of the music that we're listening to. So it really did, set that stage. But I like the costumes. I don't know if you
Mhm.
call these suits costumes. These these were just sharp suits that they were wearing, very
Mhm.
understated, not glitzy, not glam, not whatever, just understated suits.
Mhm.
And I like that. I like J.K. Simmons in a black t-shirt,
Yeah, yeah.
obviously in the black t-shirt. Um, I think his performance was absolutely, tremendous. Now I will say, and Daryl's going to go to wherever he goes to look up all this awesome stuff. But I went to a few different film sites, not IMDb, and then I also looked up some of the actual critical reviews from the film. There also was a lot of chatter about who was actually playing the drums. Now, Miles Teller is an accomplished drummer, but there were other drummers playing parts of the songs.
Mhm.
And so still to this day, like, I mean, they know who played what, but as fans and the audience, it's not quite settled how much of it really was Miles Teller. It was probably more than one would give credit to an actor, but probably not everything was Miles Teller. And I think one of the other drummers, was it the third one brought in, is even a more accomplished drummer than Miles and actually did perform some of the scenes. So, but just I think very tremendous, very understated performances from the supporting cast, the dad, Nicole, the others. But I agree, Natty. I love the way you summarize this. Miles makes his choice.
Mhm.
I think he's with Fletcher. I
Mhm.
also think
Andrew.
in that,
Andrew. You mean
yeah.
I know we
the
keep
Miles?
doing it.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
Miles. We
sorry,
just keep calling him
I'm doing
Miles.
it.
Can't help it.
I'm sorry, Andrew Neiman, Andrew Neiman, Andrew Neiman. Um, but also, kind of going back to that final scene, is was I think some of the questions that this film leaves the audience to answer is very interesting. And I know some people don't like that in a film. Some people like
Mhm.
that closure. I think the question before the ending is even more interesting than the ending, because I think the question is, did he set him up to fail, or did he set him up to
Oh,
push himself?
interesting.
This is the harshest that he's treating him. He's putting him on the world stage for his future career. He doesn't give him the song. Does he in some sense know that Andrew's gonna be able to do it?
Mhm.
Is this like his greatest opportunity to go off script, right?
Right.
That's what he's gonna
Hmm.
have to
That's
do, is
actually
to go
really
off script.
interesting.
Um, and the greatest, um, not muses, not a mentor, I don't know what you call him really, because he doesn't fit into any category. Um, but maybe that's what he's done as well. So
Mhm.
I do really like the ending. I like endings where, you have to think, but not come to not think about the future, but think about what just happened.
Mhm.
I give this film it's a 7.5, but you did this the other week, Jay. Like, you did like a point 0.7. I would do a 7.75 for this. I've gone back and forth, and the reason not an 8,
Mhm.
the reason not an 8 is exactly what you pointed out in the car crash scene.
Yep.
I thought that was a little much. And then also, like, I just had I don't know what it is. I just had a little bit of an issue with, just the the pieces where he's he's with the other musicians and, whether in a practice or what have you. I I hate to say this. I know it's a film about two people, but I wanted to see more character. I don't know what to say. I wanted to see more character, not just pointing and chucking someone out of the room, pointing and sending somebody, who didn't know that they were sharp or flat. I can't explain. I think the film needed just a little more reach. And
Mhm.
I'll just leave it at that. Um, because with these two characters being both unlikable, that does just leave a little too much tension for me, um, about whether I wanna see it or not. I think I have to find some good, and that just might be me. That just could
Mhm.
be me, but it's a 7.75 for me, and I'm so glad you put it on the wheel because honestly, I would not have watched it
Oh,
again.
good. I'm glad you enjoyed the watch, honestly. And I do love the point you make about them both being bad characters because I do think that's something we've seen for some reason a trend in a lot of the movies we pick. But I like that this second time around gave you a different perspective on it because I agree they're both bad people. I mean, not bad in the sense of like bad, but they're both kind of crappy, self-serving people who are just like not likable characters. But I've always viewed it as they deserve each other. So like it makes
Yes!
it a little easier to kind of take in the toughness of the watch.
So the visual I got, you are so right, the visual I got, how many films at the end of the day when two horrible people are fighting, they end up falling in a pit together, and I hate to say,
Yeah.
I hate Game of Thrones, but you knew the ending with the Mountain and the Hound,
Mhm, mhm,
they're struggling with each other and they take each other down at the end of it. I kinda got a visual like that with two
mhm,
people who kinda deserve each other in a terrible way, and that's why I think I was looking for some other quality, some other character that was gonna give me a break from that tension, and for a minute, it was Nicole,
mhm,
and then she was gone, and it's kinda the dad, but also kinda not the dad because 'cause they're just not there. They're
mhm,
there just for a whisper at a time. Um, but that's a really small criticism. That's a tiny criticism for a film that accomplished so much. So,
mhm,
definitely not letting that take it away. But you're right. Like they do deserve each other. I love that.
mhm.
Well said.
Stasis,
Well
what do you
said.
think?
Well,
I feel
I'm
like
gonna, I'm gonna,
Stasis is about to drop a bomb on us here.
I'm gonna take this from 3 points of view to make you make sense of why I don't like this movie.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna take it because I used to be in bands.
Mhm.
Yep. And because I was in the military, so I know the Fletcher
It's
kind
not
of
a
character.
documentary,
No, I
James.
know.
It's not a
And
documentary.
and then I'm going to take it as the film nerd I am. So there's a thing. And Natty, you have been very, very good in chat. And I'm going to put this thing up straight away that Natty said a while ago is without a drummer, you don't really have a band. A drummer is important or not as important as the conductor. This is true. This is 100% true.
Mhm.
But they don't have to be good. They just need to keep a beat.
Mhm.
White Stripes is a good thing. She is not a good
Yeah,
drummer.
that's a fair
You
point.
have great drummers, Keith Moon, who passed, Eagle Cavalera, one of the great drummers now. You have great, great drummers out there. But to keep a beat, you just need to keep a beat. What they are manipulating in this a little bit with the jazz is the faster you go, the better you are going to be. That is not all the case because otherwise, Cradle of Filth would be the greatest band in the world because they just go 1,000 miles a minute. Like it's not. It's some people like it, but things like it. You don't need to go fast to do it. Now, saying that, there's one problem I have, and I always had this with this movie. I hate jazz. I really hate
Really?
jazz. I
I'm
really
I'm
can't
more
stand it. I
indifferent,
really,
honestly.
of all the music, I'm a bit eclectic. I love classical music,
You like
blues, rock and
classical?
roll.
Yeah, I know
I
you
know,
like
I
classical.
love all that. I was listening to Handel today, like on with my kid. So I've gotten a really eclectic. I love death metal, like Viking metal, rock and roll, bit of I'd even like a bit of country now and again, but jazz, I detest it. And the worst thing is what Sandy said earlier. I don't like the song Whiplash. It really irritated me every time it was on the thing.
Kidding.
So okay, so I have to take that bubble out of actually move it. That's my music side, yeah. But then you go by the Fletcher character, and I would think he's the more interesting centric character on that, and he is the drill sergeant, and how he comes on is, you know, I will make you better. But some people can't get better, especially with other things. I remember, now I'm going to have to go my own experience here, is there was a kid, and he was really nice, and all he wanted to do was be in the Royal Air Force. He was like that sort of from young thing, and he got into the basic training, got through it, like did his best, but he wasn't good enough. He knew all of it up here, but he just couldn't do it. And it was that, you know, like he tried the hardest, got shouted at the most. Everybody tried to motivate him, but he just didn't have it. He just didn't have this the skill set to get to the next stage. He had to go. Like, and you felt really sorry because, like, you know, like the kid wanted to do it since he was like, you know, in nappies. But that's the thing with this film. I didn't get as much thing because I'm not a good guitarist. I can pick it up, but then you have the great musicians. Do you know what made them great? The first thing is because they just had that natural talent. I've seen one of my mates. He never played drums before, and he just went on it, and he just a natural rhythm. And I think with drummers, you have natural rhythm. So for them to go, oh, we just need to do the fast, you know, like the what they call it, double tempo, double time. It's just like, okay, I understand that you want to get to that stage, but not everybody's going to get there. So with Fletcher, I get what he's doing. He's like, I'm being a drill sergeant, and I like that because some people, you just need to, like when he chucked out the one for not knowing if he was out of tune. I get that because some people just need to be kind of called out of the situation. But for me, this movie, I love, as we've already spoke about, we love the cinematography. I think J.K. Simmons is amazing in it. I like how he ups the rest of the cast when he's on screen. You want to see what he does next. Like every time he's on there, the lighting I think is great. It's lacking because I've seen these movies before. That kind of I'm gonna get you there. I'm gonna get you there, and I just didn't like the ending. I really don't like being abrupt. Okay, you can do your headcanon, but the worst thing I really didn't like in this, and it's just me. It's when you ever do a live, like you go and watch a band, you know, like they introduce and on guitar such and such, on bass guitar, on piano is such and such, and they have their little moment, and then they have they introduce the drummer and they have their drum solo. Oh, it annoys me. It's just like I'm not a drum solo fan. I'm not a drum solo fan, so that's probably with me. I just get the drummer. I can't understand. Like one of my we used to call him Sarge, absolutely amazing drummer, but he needed that music to set him up. He absolutely I get your talent. I love it. And I get this in the movie. I just didn't like jazz and don't get it. So for me, because it's a personal taste, because I like the movie, the look, the feel, the story. Like I think we've picked apart the bits I didn't like because it irritated me that you needed Andrew to have any moment of like I suppose
being human.
Kind of,
like he has a pulse and he's not just a robot.
Levity, like at the end, like that. But even at the end, he's still arrogant. I'm still the best. I'm still with it. Look, you push me, but I'm still best. Well, you're not. You're like, if you've got it, you've got it. And that's the things like you have. That's what makes musicians great, and then good musicians. You have ones that you could pick out that are things. But yeah, unfortunately, jazz ain't my things.
Natty.
I agree, Natty. I agree.
Yeah. So for me, unfortunately, it's I for the cinematography and the lighting, I would give it a recommend. For you, J.K. Simmons, if you want to watch it as an acting bit, recommend. Otherwise, I wouldn't recommend this movie. And I would say it would be it would be watch it once and I wouldn't go back to it. So I, of course, now watch the thing. And it was funny. My girlfriend couldn't remember us watching it because she fell asleep.
Well, funny you say that, actually, because my
That's
wife didn't care for it. By the time we finished watching it, she was like, I can't believe you
Mm.
just made me watch that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't believe you just said that. I thought,
There you
so
go.
for some reason, I feel like, yeah, it might not
I
hit
think
with
it is.
everybody.
There's layers,
Yeah.
and that's why I kind of came away with it the first time, really appreciating it probably more artistically than
Mm.
the story. But again, like I said, in my head, I was never going to watch it again.
No. But say, like, for me, when
And
I
I'm glad
first
I
watched
did.
it, I was like, oh, I didn't like that. And it was like, you know, like, I get it. Like, it wasn't like it was like you have one of those, like Birdman, they made it
Mhm.
future arty and they tried to make this
Mhm.
art
Oh,
Hollywood.
yeah.
And it wasn't that.
Pretentious,
It was
too
just
much.
like, you know what? I've seen that driven kind of movie before, and it's got, unfortunately, the music style I hate, and it's jazz.
That's going to be
unfortunately.
a
So it's
problem.
kind of, it's going to
Yeah.
be a problem. And then, like, even if you had, I actually don't mind that track, like, but the repeating of Whiplash, like, I was like,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was a problem for me, but
Yeah,
I had to look past that. But I really didn't like.
So me, it's literally because it's not bad. It's not. I'm gonna give it a 5, and that's because,
Interesting.
and just because it's like it's just there. It's just like I just see it as it's a movie, but unfortunately, if it came on, I would just turn it over. And
Mhm.
that's
Fair
the
enough.
problem with it. It's just not my flavor, and that is more than
Well,
likely.
that's
I
the
just
beauty
get
of film club, though.
That is
Yeah,
the beauty
that's
of
why
film
we do
club.
it.
Yeah, and that's probably because I get irritated by jazz. Like that.
I'll tell you, I've never watched the A Star Is Born with Lady Gaga, the most recent one, and by all accounts, I've heard it's good. Country music lost
Nope.
on me. I'm not
Me
interested in
too.
it, so
Yeah.
I can totally understand that. To be honest with you,
But yeah, so yeah, that's great.
A
Though. I
film for
like that.
thee and not for me. I like that. No, thank you.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I can see chat loving it. But yeah, let's say this is the thing is
out of curiosity, Stasis, because you said you
Mhm.
didn't like it the first time. Did second viewing make you at least like it more than the first time, or still just felt the exact same?
I hated it even more.
Really?
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, I really didn't like it. Like
Fascinating.
J.K. Simmons,
Because you were being more critical of the music.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
was
Fair
being
enough.
more critical.
Fair
That I was like, oh, they're repeating it, they're repeating it again. I'm like, So I think when I first saw it, I could kind of mind, oh, it's just next scene. But then I realized, oh, you're just repeating the same song, right? Because I was blacking it out. So yeah, for this time,
Fair
I
enough.
probably did less. J.K. Simmons, I appreciated him more. The lighting and all that, the cinematography, how they did that, liked it more. But then just that, unfortunately, it was the wrong flavor for me.
Yeah, fair enough.
Chocolate, yeah.
Well, when I do my Nerd Takes Recommends video on this, I know who the one dislike will be.
But this, what is your favorite instrument? Drums 24%, guitar 24%, didgeridoo only 14%.
Piano wins. Piano wins.
Yeah, and piano
wins.
winners. Yeah,
Very
piano
versatile.
wins. There we go. So well done, chat. So now, Jay, what
Yes.
you were talking about earlier, guys.
Oh, correct. Right.
We're going to go for the wheel. Then we're going to talk about a certain trailer, and we're going to find out Sandy's take as well. But the guys, so I'm going to bring up the wheel. There's been changes to the wheel, and why I mean changes,
I'm worried about these changes. I'm telling you.
No, well, yeah, they there's one that could be problematic.
Yeah.
So let's just share. Let me just close that. Now, hopefully, if Abe's gone, it might be good. That's all we have to say.
You never know. No, if
Because-
Highlanders, it's Highlander. I think we have to be most worried
Yeah,
about.
let's get rid of it. Okay, so what we've got, as you can see, and I love this because we got to now shuffle. They can shuffle it. But if you see, we have now little picks. So if anybody can see that says Sandy's science fiction pick. And we also, let's just scroll, James's history
This is good
pitch.
to know, because I was actually unsure of how this format was going to work.
Then
this makes sense.
Jay's pick. So Jay, if you get that, you can pick any film you want,
Cool.
and they don't have to be on the list.
Ooh, I hope I hope one doesn't come up today, because now I'm thinking about it. I think I need to do more homework, because if something comes up, I need some time to think. first.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So we have now different picks of like a comedy pick, a sci-fi pick, historical action
Because
movie, thriller movie.
389 films was not enough on this list.
But we also got a tough one for us guys. There's B movies. There's
Yay.
also movies after 2020. That's going to be difficult.
It's going to be very hard.
We have guilty pleasure.
Okay.
So ones that you know people don't like, but you would like it. I also added on there, hate it.
Yeah. That's
Movies you hate.
That'll be a good
that
one.
was that'll be a good one. But we also chat, and because we have now, it's turned out because of all the things, 193. You have one in 293. Sorry, chance of its chat's pick. At the moment,
I didn't even see that one.
Category ever.
So yeah,
man, we need Highlander then for sure.
Yeah. So if it comes, oh my god, I'm going to shuffle again just in case.
Please.
So if we do this, we might have a discussion to bring it down because we know you chat are going to be bad, and then maybe what we'll do is have 4 or no, let's say 3 movies, do a poll, and then you pick because there's going to be people arguing. So we'll do it like that.
Just for the purpose of Abe, that means no X-rated parody movies. We're leaving those off the list.
Oh my god! Well, there won't be any screenshots.
You know, I'm so sorry to turn us backward, but because you said X-rated, I did want to make a back to Whiplash. This film is rated R, as it should have been, for the language and the slate, you know, the blood. But on my screen, when it says all the reasons why it was rated R, it was extraordinarily strange. It had obviously the language. It had drug use and sexual content. Where was the drug use in this film?
Literally nowhere.
I think
Or
they just
sexual
automatically
content,
checked all the boxes for an R rating. I
right.
mean, I think obviously it was the
Yeah, that's
language and the
weird.
violence and the
Right.
blood. But anyway, I'm sorry to go backward, but when you said X-rated, it made me just think, you know, and we had talked before about, you know, how many R-rated films we had on this list versus, you know, not. And I think this was only one of maybe 2 or 3 that we've looked at so far that was R-rated. So anyway, sorry to derail and go back, but there's Highlander will have you watching Brave. I know.
That could be,
Gallagher.
but that could be on our hated list. So that might be different. Yeah.
Oh god.
So,
one of you guys is gonna make me watch that movie
it's
again.
gonna come up, isn't it? Somehow.
If it's not one of you two, it's gonna be Highlander.
Like it or hate it. We're gonna
Oh, you've never seen it?
No, I'd have to see it again. I haven't seen it since I watched it the first time.
I
did not like it at all.
Yeah. But yeah, so for next week, Jay, you wasn't here, but we put it in a private chat. We have Tigerland that Sandy hadn't seen.
No.
Jay?
Nope, never even heard of it, to be honest.
There you go,
I was shocked when I looked it
So
up.
it's a new
2000
new
and
movie.
Colin Farrell. I
good.
had never heard of it.
Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
Some good
So
actors.
this, it's his breakthrough movie. It's kind of a drama with a bit of black comedy, if you want to kind of call it that. There's there are parts of it. It's again, it's a good pre-Vietnam one, but a more modern take on it. There is a bits on it that will more than likely piss off a historian here. Just how it's done. But yeah, it's his breakthrough movie. Yeah, so that's things. But on that note, I'm going to shuffle it 5 times because I've got the shuffle now. I like this. Oh, that would be a good movie. Oh, just saw the top one.
Power of the shuffle.
Oh, look at that. Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh my God. We need 5 hours for that. We do.
I don't mind any of those first 6
We need
picks.
to EFAP it.
7. Oh, that's it. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, 1, 2. Then people look. What? 3, 4, 5, and here we go. Oh, what it's going to be chatting it.
I'm scared.
I hope it's chat.
Right?
I kind of hope it's chat just to see what they give us.
It's going to be something normal now, isn't it? Let's go. Whee!
Crouching Tiger.
Oh, okay.
I haven't watched this one.
Okay.
I haven't seen it in a while either.
There you go.
Nice.
Okay, I haven't seen that. That's
Nice.
God, I must not have seen this in like 15 years, for Christ's sake. It's been a
my
while.
gosh.
You know what? I haven't seen the second one.
You didn't see the sequel.
Oh, there was a second one?
And
Yeah.
it was,
I didn't even know there was.
and it was quite good. I was
Yeah, I keep on forgetting. It's one of
a
those
lot
ones
of
that like,
fan
oh, need to come and
service.
watch it.
I was just gonna say, and I think we
When
have to
did that
talk
come
about
out?
Train Spotting too, because I
Mm.
thought it was so well done. So yeah, nice. Yes, choose
Good
life.
soundtrack.
Yes.
Good soundtrack.
2017. How did I
Okay,
miss
there's
that?
gonna be. I can see. I probably can't entertain YouTube so much with screenshots.
Yeah, good luck. You
I'm
might just
just
be
saying.
looking at Stasis a lot on this one chat. Stasis
Yeah.
and our logos.
Oh my god. Yeah. The couple of drug uses on a
Just a
before the
couple.
shitting
Yeah,
bit.
just
Just the
a
shitting bit.
handful.
The baby on the ceiling. I don't know if YouTube are gonna like that, but yeah, there we
Mm.
go. So we got okay.
I do know that
Transport.
they're not gonna like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm quite glad. This is a movie. I haven't seen. Who put it on? Who put this on?
If
Not
you
me.
didn't, I did.
Who put this on? Go on,
I
have a look.
should have.
That
I didn't
should have
even
been
think
me.
of it, but
Hold
no,
on, let
not
me
me.
Go on, have a look. There you go.
There we-
Train Spotting. That's going to be a good
That was a
talk.
kind of left field.
And
left
do you?
field pick. I like
Yeah.
that.
I don't think I would have put it on there.
I'm sure I did then. If
I
you
feel like I
wouldn't-
would have had I thought of it. I just didn't
Yeah.
think of it.
Oh yeah, I put it on.
There you go.
And
So-
I have a
so
book to
Sandy's pick.
read because I've
Nice.
never read
Oh,
the book.
yes. Ah, there you go. Yeah. Does it have English subtitles in the American version from the Scottish accent? Just saying. as
Thanks
well.
a lot. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Oh my! It's funny when you watch an American
I know.
program and it's like either like a Scottish or Welsh person or even somebody from up north or even Devon. They put subtitles and you're like, what? Like that. It's like was watching something on Netflix and it was like American show and they introduced like somebody. I think they were from like Cornwall or somewhere like that, and they had to put subtitles.
Scottish
Like,
is okay. Some of the Welsh, I do have, yes. I think I struggle more with the Welsh accent than with the Scottish accents. So
depends what it is. Like strong
It does.
Glaswegian is very, very hard. But yeah, good, a good one, good one.
nice.
So we got
And some Robert
a little bit,
Carlyle.
a little bit of
He's
comedy,
not
I
used
suppose, in
enough.
this one, and we're slowly getting to it. This has got a bit, a bit of comedy. It's our first Ewan McGregor movie, isn't it, as well?
Rare.
Mhm.
I think Robert Carlyle is one of those actors
Yeah.
who is just not used enough. I
No.
adore him, and again, it's a stage actor. I have to go see where he is and what he's doing now because I don't think we've seen him. He did that. He played Rumpelstiltskin in that American series, kind of about the.
Oh
called
yeah,
What was it called? Not Happily Ever After either. It was a fairy tale
no,
one. And my
I know
kids
you know
loved
about.
it.
Yeah.
But he's great as Rumpelstiltskin.
Oh, I can't remember
And
what it's
of
called now,
course,
but I know. Yeah.
Full Monty. He's.
Once Upon a Time.
I think so. Yeah, Once
Yeah,
Upon a
something
Time.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's
yeah.
great. in
I
this
didn't watch it, chat. Just saying. It's very girly.
It was good. It was decent. But yeah, so and just love him. I think he's one of those. I'm going to use that word gritty again. He's a gritty actor, and this is a gritty film for sure. So awesome, and I got to get the book now because it's
So
been a while
we're
since
slowly
I've had a book.
we're slowly getting to comedy though. A little bit of comedy elements into this, even though it's
It is a dark comedy.
a
Yes,
dark
Ben
comedy.
sums it up. That's what it is. It is. It is just that. It is just that. But
yeah, and
really
then maybe we'll
guess
get a
what else we
comedy.
get?
We haven't had a full comedy yet.
Yes. What else we get? We get that common thread. There is an act. Okay, besides, oh no, we haven't had Ewan McGregor. There's an actor, an actress in this film that we've had in a previous film. No Country for Old Men.
I had a feeling it was going to be her, but I wasn't
Kelly
positive because she
MacDonald.
is Scottish,
Oh
right?
yes.
Her,
She's
she's the
actually
girl. A girl in Trainspotting. It's Kelly MacDonald. And again, if it's one of those films. So, Jay, you're gonna hear her real accent. Remember, I talked about how amazing her performance was in No Country because people don't even realize she's Scottish, and that was horrible of me. Sorry, she's Scottish. But you'll hear her real accent in this film. So, yeah.
There was something
and Ewan McGregor
watching where she popped
and
up.
Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, him too. I was
Everybody
watching something
plays
recently with her, and I can't remember what it was. She was good in it too.
She's one of those
What
just
was it?
skims
in Harry
the
Potter,
surface. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Rowena
what it was. It was the ghost. That's
Rowena
exactly what it was.
Ravenclaw.
When we when my son was born, we were in the hospital. naturally it was the weekend, so of course some channel somewhere was doing a Harry Potter marathon, and it was Deathly Hallows Part 2, and that's where I started. I was like, oh yeah, and I was telling my wife all about it. About her and No Country for Old Men and blah blah blah. Basically, gave her a rundown on that film club episode.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna because we've all said it. Is what film intrigued you this year to go to the cinema? And the trailer got released after the snippet and the dog trailer. I'm guessing the crypto trailer got released.
And a couple small things.
Jay, I'm guessing you've seen it. I'm guessing you might even do a breakdown on it if you have time.
I thought about it. When you hear my review, my take on it, you'll see why I'm probably not going to bother. I'd rather just spend time with my kid than do the video on that one.
I can't remember what me and Sandy were doing. And I said, Sandy, you watched it? And you went, oh, not yet. And you got kind of upped on it. How do you feel about the Superman trailer?
That trailer was all over the place.
Yeah.
That trailer was all over the place. I was trying so hard, like whether it was Friday Night Tights or, you know, anybody else or Film Thread or whomever talking about Superman, I tuned it off, right? I tuned it out and turned it off because I really want to like this film. And I don't want to be like swayed by the hubbub or by the trailers, but I didn't see anything in that trailer that I like. And I hate Lois Lane so much. Like I loved, oh my God, why can't I think of her name? You know, the original Lois Lane.
I can do it, Abel.
I don't like this Lois Lane at all. I don't like the themes in this trailer. I'm very not happy with the trailer. So when you say, you know, what am I looking forward to this year? I have nothing else to look forward to this year, right? Because we're going to have another garbage Transformers movie. We're going to have another garbage Jurassic Park film. We're going to have another God knows what Fantastic Four film. And still rumors of a Passion of the Christ 2. Why?
Which is just the craziest
Passion of the Christ Resurrection. I mean, come on. Margot Kidder, that's the one. Thank you, Galadorn. You know, obviously we'll wait to be seen, you know, shall wait to be seen, and we won't judge a film based on the trailer, but I'm not hopeful. I don't like Lois Lane. I don't even like Superman after this trailer. I don't know what it is. And I just bleh is my opinion on that. Thanks for making me watch it, James.
I don't like him as Superman. I was like, in the first two trailers, I was like, okay. And this one, I was like, oh, he doesn't look good.
Very immature. Like, he's not commanding. He's immature. He's like a child.
Yeah. And Lois Lane, I didn't like. Girlfriend said she was okay because the things. I just thought the rest of it, it was like he's just doing like okay. Guardian of the Galaxy worked with the multiple characters because they're in a spaceship. They're all things that you can move around it. You can introduce different characters, but they're all in one little confined space. So it works. When he gets another project that we've had before, when he has to introduce loads, he messes it up because they're just too much going on. And this seems like what he's doing with this. But yeah, it looks a bit poor. It looks like it's made for TV. Like the costume design is awful in it. I thought everything is just
not good. I've been trying to get myself to like his suit, but it's just not good. They need to change it by the second movie.
It's like a steely blue instead of like, and I'm sorry, like I know
fabric just looks bad. It just looks bad.
It looks like it looks like okay, this is terrible. Like swim trunk material, you know what I mean? The men's meshy, shiny swim trunk material that looks cheap. I don't mind the bright, brilliant blue, red, and yellow. That is how it should be. He's not Batman. He shouldn't be. I'm sorry, I'm like getting animated here. Because I was trying so hard to not look and to hopefully be pleasantly surprised, but this. Yes, Natty, melty Spider-Man and you know, kind of this sour face and acting like a kid, and you know, the picture of him with his dog sleeping on top of him. Stop it. That's That's a fluffy pocket dog.
It's
Why
all
is Superman's dog? Ugh.
it's all for TikTok videos for that 30 seconds.
And to be honest, it feels like a little bit of his James Gunn's insert of his own love of his own dog, which seems to be an inspiration of it. Which, like, again, we all have dogs. Well, not we all have dogs, but those of us who do have dogs, we love our dogs. I love dogs. I love seeing other people's dogs. I'm a dog person. I love them. I don't need you to be inserting like your own relationship. Like, and I'm fine if you wanted to use crypto, but I don't need like something about that laying in the bed scene with the dog on. It was like, is this something that your dog does with you, James Gunn, that you just felt like you had to put in here? Like, I don't know. It just comes off a little cheesy.
It just feels like it's like with like Superman. Like I said, he doesn't look like Superman. Like he's Clark Kent doesn't feel like Clark Kent. And I mean, it's like if you go by Superman Returns, he looked like Superman. He looked like Clark Kent. Like Henry Cavill's Clark Kent, okay, a little bit hit and miss, but him as Superman looks like Superman. He doesn't look like either. He just he's not bulked up and he's not built down. He just looks. I'm a bit lanky and tall.
Yeah, and for me, I think that problem is his suit. Like if you look at him face wise, hair wise, I do think he has a Superman-esque look. It's the suit that like it's just too bulky. The material's wrong. You don't see any muscle underneath it, so you can't tell that that's a Superman. He just, like you said, looks like a tall kind of tall guy with some weight on him. He doesn't look too scrawny or anything. It's just. You need to see, it needs to be that, as Natty said, more like spandex. It needs to be tight around the muscles. See the shoulder muscles, the biceps, the pecs, the whole deal. The suit just doesn't look good. For me, I guess to go for the whole trailer, I don't think it's awful, but it's meh. It's like, it does, like, I'm still waiting for, and I want to like this movie. I love Superman. I want this to be good. I want to like it. I'm waiting for something to make me excited about it, and nothing is. I don't think anything's making me feel like, oh my God, crap. But nothing's making me feel like this is going to be fantastic. Like I thought Batman vs. Superman had better trailers and got me more excited. Whatever the final product was, is a different story. But those trailers made me excited. This is like, meh. There's just nothing making me excited about it. And I think for me, it's his Clark Kent was. So I think I didn't like his Clark Kent in this because the scene they chose is a very whiny scene of him, to be honest. Like he's just kind of whining about what I'm doing is right, even though, I actually didn't mind the Lois Lane. I thought she was fine. I didn't think she was anything special, but I thought she was fine. It was his kind of whining Clark Kent that I didn't like. But more so than that, I don't like that it seems like they're just repeating the same stuff from Batman and versus Superman. The whole thing was Lex trying to point out to humanity that this isn't your savior. This guy acts without, restrictions, acts on his own behalf. Like they're repeating that same story and tone. And I thought the whole reason we moved on from the Snyder stuff and Henry Cavill specifically was you wanted to tell a different Superman story, one that was more based off hope and the beacon of hope that he should be. And it feels like you're just kind of retelling that same story of what we saw, which was how do you government trying to rein in a Superman, or people having a perspective that this Superman needs to be reined in, which was the perspective of Lex and Batman in Batman versus Superman. Like it just seems like you're repeating that same story, same tone that we just did that didn't really work. I think it's an interesting story and way to go telling a Superman story? Sure. Do I need it in every live action thing that you do from now on? No. Like I'm good with that story. I wasn't expecting it to be that because they specifically said they wanted to do something different. And that's like the main focal point of the tone of this trailer. So yeah, you could tell me, it's just a little portion of it. Maybe I can't know that it's a little portion of it until I see the movie. And the way you just framed this trailer, it seems like that's the entire point of it.
And a lot of I know the spoiler rumors that come out, and I was like, "That's bullshit." And
I actually haven't read those, so I'm trying to stay away from.
No, I've seen some of the tubers and then I was like, "Oh,"
I'm trying to stay away. Just to,
and then that trailer, I was like, "Oh," the trailer just kind of there's a couple of scenes in it. I was like, "Oh no!" But like I like Nicholas Hoult, and I thought he looked good, and how he was acting. You know what? I think he's just too tall. He's 6'2".
Oh, see, I didn't pick up on that yet. I didn't pick up on that.
No, but I think not in the trailer. Not in the trailer. I think when they're going to set
just when you see it, I see.
Yeah, I think he's not. He's like what
shouldn't be as physically imposing as Superman.
I just don't like got to be done. Look, it's not the height. There's just something about his facial
Nicholas Hoult?
He's got a very
he's skinny because he's skinny,
but he's also got a very like specific face too. Like some people like you change the
I like
hairstyle,
him,
you
but-
can't tell who it is, but you can still see Nicholas Hoult
Yeah.
with his. It's a very
Yeah.
specific look to him.
Mm.
So
But I think
definitely can see that.
if you're gonna do like as you said, like we had Lex Luthor before, I think with Lex Luthor, I think you need to introduce the first one, him doing something by himself, and then Superman like gets in the way, you know, stops him doing it. Then the second movie, you can make him pissed off, you know, as we get in the originals, escapes from prison to get his own back. That would make more sense. Like, why are you going to go straight in that there is this conflict straight away? You know, like, oh, and it is like you get the lines like with Lex Luthor. He's just, oh, everybody, you know, is, yeah, as you said, like believes he's this wonderful thing, and I'm going to show him that he's not.
Right.
Right. Okay.
We've done that.
So I'm not too.
And it's also just like for me. I don't know. It's like I said, I don't think it's an awful trailer or anything, but I don't think it's great. I think it's middle of the road, meh, and it needed to be more than that. I think when he's actually Superman being Superman, the few scenes you get, like the saving, I think he's saving a little girl from some explosion. And I actually like the little scene where I don't think we see who he's fighting, but I assume it's probably that giant dinosaur dragon monster. Because he gives a little line like, hey, buddy, eyes up here. And he goes, like, that felt a little Superman-ish to me, like that kind of a slight playfulness with his opponent, given that he knows he can beat him type of thing. Like, I thought that was okay. For me, it was the Clark stuff. Just, one, it felt like a rehash of what we'd done. Two, it felt like a poorer version of it.
Yeah. Cool. So, I mean,
hoping for the best, but nothing.
No, it didn't. I was intrigued. Now I'm like, oh,
yeah. I think I could say
it's got to come out with something like that. But yeah,
I'm holding out hope. We'll see. But it just it looks like stuff. I think the other thing that's annoying me a little bit too is like we were told this was not supposed to be an origin, and it's definitely not an origin. But I feel like it made it seem like there was going to be more. It was going to be more down the road where like the world knows he's not a threat. The world knows he's going to act on general behalfs of the U.S., but also just on behalf of the world. And what's right
again, it's like bringing him in like to the Senate or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we're still doing early career Superman stuff here. I thought this was going to be established Superman. Otherwise, what the hell was
Beacon of American Hope? Unfortunately, yeah, that's it.
I think that's what's, like the Lex stuff too. Is like, okay, we don't need like him and Lex are just enemies. We don't need this whole like explain. I don't know. It just again, like I think saying year 1 or 2 is perfect. Like. You said it wouldn't be origin. It's not origin, but you made it seem like it would be year 10, year 15-ish Superman, not year 2.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. We'll see. But yeah, chat. Remember your homework. It's all been great. And it's great to have Jay back.
It's great to be back.
Especially when DC gets talked about. They're probably going to be definitely a DC.
Hopefully, we have better things.
If it goes Jay's pick, DC. You're gonna make us watch Batman.
Maybe I'll pick original Superman just so we all have a good.
That's on there. That's on the list.
Is it? Perfect. Then I don't have to pick it.
Yeah. You can pick it. You can pick what's on the list, what's outside the list. That's a little bit of fun.
About 2 weeks ago. And I would recommend like everybody just kind of bop around on YouTube once in a while. So Warner, what was it, Warner?
Oh
was doing a Superman marathon for 48 hours straight on YouTube. And then this weekend, and now I can't remember what it was. This weekend there was another 48-hour marathon, and I can't remember what it was. It was probably something I wasn't interested in. But anyway, so how nice what a treat to just sit down and turn on a Superman. I caught Superman 3, unfortunately, but it would be nice to see the original. So unfortunately, I have to
go on. If you want to quickly dash, you got to dash. But we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah, I have.
Should we wrap it up? Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, I actually have to as well because baby nerd needs some attention.
There we go.
He's with mom. Don't worry, everybody. He is with mom. But I'm sure mom's thinking, when the hell is film club going to end?
Yes.
Sandy, I might keep the furnaces burning. She knows what I mean.
I'll be back. I'll be back in about an hour, probably 40 minutes, and keep the furnaces burning. And I'm going to finish that build. We're playing a game.
The Front.
One of our favorites, The Front.
Jay, I'll give you the it's a private one, so I'll give you the details if you fancy.
If you want to give it a shot, jump in.
That's good. Jump in. But everybody, I hope you had a bit of fun with Jay's chat. a bit of bloody jazz.
No, it's
Yeah,
good.
that's it,
Everybody
bro.
go add Whiplash to your playlists.
I would.
That's it. But yeah, it's been great. Again, this is what the film club is all about. It's give and take, give and take. So yeah, it's good. But everybody, I hope you've had things. Lot in chat today. Very much appreciate it, especially as Eurovisions is on and you all came to watch us
that's a
talking
big
about
thing for you
music.
guys, huh?
Oh, I need
and
to.
things.
My kids and I always watch like just
Oh,
the
you're gonna-
summary of all the songs. We don't
Well,
do it
you'll
live.
be in. Okay,
I've
so
never
like,
watched
it will
it, but
go
it
on
We
seems
till
so
1
can't see
o'clock.
it live.
It's
generally.
the most gayest fun thing
It's
without
hilarious.
being offensive you could have. And I mean that is the old happy and gay as
Right,
well,
right.
but
Oh,
also
absolutely.
modern. And it's brilliant. It's so bad, it's great TV.
And every
that's
once
it.
in a while,
I
there's
would
some
go,
good music because my kids and
Yeah,
I we have a
sometimes there's not,
playlist
though.
of former
I've seen
Eurovision
some
songs.
wild musicians and songs
It-
come out of that before,
yeah.
so I'm
And the
not.
worst
Where
thing is,
ABBA
you
came
know,
from.
and the worst thing is like, because I suppose the British and the Americans have the very similar taste in pop music.
Mhm.
And then you're like, that one is shite. That is the worst song I've ever heard. And it wins.
And
And
then
you're
it
like,
wins.
and it's literally everybody else over Europe goes like that, love it. And you're like, I don't get it. But then if
It's
you
all
ever go to it, like,
political.
if you go to a discotheque, as they call it in like France, and you actually go in one and you realize what they dance to, you're like, now I understand.
Now I get
Your
it.
music is awful. But yeah, everybody, go and watch Eurovision. Have a laugh. There we go. It's going to be on probably another 2 hours.
Awesome.
It's a big thing. But yeah, everybody, thank you all for coming and join us for a bit of jazz music. And of course,
Woohoo.
next homework, we're going into a bit more, again, dark and gritty like this one, but a little bit different with Tigerland. So we got one that's seen it, two haven't. So remember your homework. And then we're going to have a bit of Train Spotting. So that's going to be interesting. And then where the wheel takes us, we don't know from now on because it could be you.
Gary.
But until then, have a great one. Jay, congratulations again.
Thank you.
That's it. And we'll see you in the next film club. For now, bye.